Hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show, episode number 987. That's episode number Nuevo Ocho Seis, episode number Nuevo Ocho Seis, with your host, Agostino Zinga. How you doing? How you feeling, ladies and gentlemen? Great, amazing, good to know, good to know, good to know. How am I? I'm feeling pretty good, all things considered. I'm pretty feeling all good, all things considered. I am gearing up to the last day. This is my last day of streaming, so I'm happy to take a bit of a break this week. I'm not gonna lie. I know I've been off and stuff when I've been ill and injured, but for the most part, I've been streaming every day. I think I've been streaming and recording. I think every flipping day or most days. I've been streaming every flipping day, so I'm really looking forward to taking this break. Now, Christmas for me isn't really anything, you know. I don't really give a fuck about Christmas, to be honest. I don't really give a fuck about birthdays. I don't really give a fuck about those type of celebrations in general. I'm very anti-birthdays. I think anyone over the age of like 25 celebrating their own birthdays is fucking gay. Anybody above 25 celebrating their birthdays fucking lame. Anybody above 25 celebrating their fucking birthday is fucking loser, in my personal opinion. Christmas as well, it lost its luster once you're an adult, hanging out with your family and stuff. Yeah, cool, whatever. But in terms of you enjoying Christmas as it used to be when you were a kid, not very much, honestly. Christmas actually used to be somewhat good when we had a lot of extended family members coming into the house and stuff, with our mums and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. But nowadays, everyone's sort of fragmented, moved away. People have beefs that you don't know about, that you only find about when you go to a funeral or matanga or something. And you're like, oh shit, there was beef. That's why we haven't seen each other for a while. So funerals and Christmas can be a little bit of a Debbie Downer, because they can remind you just how little family, extended family you have, or even actual family, right? They can be a downer for a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who celebrate their Christmas completely alone because there's nobody around, nobody alive. They're the last person with their family name with a fucking heartbeat. So you just have to make the best of it. So I think in general, Christmas is not for me really, but it is a good chance to rest and recover. The whole world kind of stops. It's probably the one, more so even than, I think, more so even than fucking Christmas. No, more so even in summer. More so even in summer, I feel Christmas is the one time in the year where everyone stops. Everybody stops in Christmas. Summer, no, not everyone stops. Some people don't give a fuck about summer. Like, even not in terms of vacations or festivals, just in terms of summer relaxing. No one gives a fuck. They work all the way through. But I feel like Christmas is the one time where everybody collectively agrees, okay, cool, we're going to chill. We're going to take our foot off the gas. We're not going to be going so crazy, and we're going to relax a little bit. Just a tiny bit, just a flipping tiny bit. So I'm going to take advantage of it because, again, I'm not really big on breaks and vacations and stuff. I like to work all the time because that's stuff I really enjoy. I don't really find it like working in the first place. I like to keep myself occupied. But if the world is stopping, if the world is pausing, then I might also take advantage of that and get my little kind of, get my little R's in, get my little Z's in, get me? Get my little Z's, get my little R&D's, all that rest of that included. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Apart from that, I'm going to talk about the football today. I'm going to talk about some fashion stuff today. Going to talk about quite a bit today. So we've got probably a little bit of a jam-packed long one. But like I said before, anybody listening to the pod, listening to this stream after the fact or live, please be aware, this is the last Taz. This is the last Taz of the week. Last Taz of the week. So take part, be involved, like, share, all that malarkey as I go for a Christmas break. And the one coming upwards as well will be the last random show of the week as well. So make sure you tune in and lock in. Make sure you tune in and lock in, because these will be the last two that I'll be doing going flipping forward. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. We've got so much to discuss, so much to talk about. Let's strap into the number one cultural commentary podcast live stream in the world. Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure. It's never a chore. It's always a pleasure. It's never a chore. First things first. Let's talk about Kai Cenat. Let's talk about the boy Kai Cenat. Let's talk about the boy Kai Cenat. Please, let's discuss Kai Cenat. We need to discuss Kai Cenat. I think this is a very, very important topic to discuss on the timeline because people have been going crazy with it. Let's flipping discuss the one and only Kai Cenat. Yo, before we do that, big up Podcastables actually on the Kick Chat too. I'm feeling his journey from Portsmouth to Sunderland is going to kill me. Be blessed when I get there. Cool. Big up Podcastables in the Kick Chat too. And by the way, just to let you know, I'm also dual streaming on Kick. So if you want to join me over there, make sure you do. Check out my Kick. Link in the description for my Kick address. It's just kick.com/my name. Easy peasy. So, as you guys may have heard, this is from a while back, but Kai Cenat jumped onto his social media and decided to let us know that he is feeling somewhat depressed. He didn't really use the word depression, I'm not going to lie, so I'm not going to put that on him, but he did let us know that he's suffering from some sort of mental health issue. So I'm going to play the clip for you, then I'm going to give you my view on this whole matter, because I thought some of the conversations around it were a bit weird. But let me play the clip. The caption says, "This took a lot for me to do, ... thank you, love heart emoji." Let's play the clip.
Hello everybody, I'm currently on my laptop right now, and I appreciate everybody who's been sending me birthday wishes, as today is my birthday. So I felt like it was the perfect day to be transparent and honest with you guys. A few days ago, I spread awareness on mental health and how important it is to take care of yourself. And honestly, for the past few months, I've been struggling with mental health out of self-doubt and fright of pursuing goals that I really want to achieve. And the reason I've really been in my head is because I just wanted to do more. I've gained to realize that I'm a true creator and I'm very passionate about creating. And I have other goals and things that I just want to achieve and do more of. And I would love to show you guys what I've been working on for the past few months through my more personal page, which is KC3 Hidden. I am going to go private soon on that page, so whoever gets in, but I just want to let you guys know that sometimes it is important to take care of your mental health, and honestly, it's been getting better. It has, but out of frustration and fear, I just been in my head for some reason. I never had this feeling before, but I want it to be known that I truly want to create. And I don't know if I'm getting mature or I'm just looking things at a broad point of view, but I am so passionate about creating in general, and I'm excited to show you guys what's going on.
So as you guys can see, that was Kai Cenat, in my personal opinion, using the whole mental health angle for sympathy and understanding. Me personally, going forward, I don't have a lot of ins and outs, right? I'm not really big on the ins and outs. I'm big on New Year's resolutions. I'm big on locking in, but I don't really have a list of like ins and outs. I don't really keep track of things like that too often to actually make a list. I probably should, but I don't. But if I had to say, if I had to pick, if I had to choose and decide one in, one out, and one out in specifically, one out for 2026 should be mental health. We have to get rid of that conversation piece. We have to get rid of that label. We have to get rid of that talking point. We have to get rid of that descriptor. We have to find another word that describes indecision, another word that describes doubt, another word that describes worry, another word that describes a fork in the road in your career. That's what he's in, right? Don't get me wrong. Kai Cenat's in a very unique and special position. He's like, what, in his early 20s, mid 20s. He's basically a multi-millionaire, maybe 3 digits, I'd say. Maybe close to 3 digits, maybe high double digits, right? Maybe high double digits millionaire, like actual money in his actual account. He's made it. He looks after his family. He looks after all his friends. He's got a big crew of people that he does content with, the AMP boys, subathons with celebrities and shit. He's achieved more in his very, very short life than a lot of people have in their very, very long lives, right? But with that, I think, I'd imagine, comes a little bit of confusion on what to do next. Once you've completed life at the level that he's completed it at, it must feel weird, because I did watch a clip the other day. I saw a clip the other day of when he reached 1 million subscribers. Really good, really inspirational, really positive clip. When Kai Cenat reaches 1 million subscribers, right? He's literally sobbing. And this is real. This is not Kai Cenat that you see now. This one now is a bit more media trained, a bit more PR, whatever else it may be. The one where he hits 1 million subscribers, you can tell that's real. That struggle, that's pain. He's crying for all the times that he missed meals and was mocked at by his classmates and stuff for doing the stream and editing videos and recounting the times. One of the heartbreaking times on the clip towards the end, he's talking about how when he was growing up, he didn't have any money for anything. He was just dead broke and he didn't understand how he was going to get money or make it in life. But every time he asked his mum for some money, his mum would always give it. But he knew they were broke as a family. So it always used to make him feel guilty, and you didn't understand how his mum could afford it. How she could look after the home, look after the kids, look after his siblings, and also give him money. And it kind of just drove him to wanting to achieve. So he had that realization of like, oh shit, I'm never gonna have to ask my mum for money anymore, and I'm gonna be there for her as well. So you can see it's a real emotion, whatever, right? But to be fair to him, it must be weird because he went from being very broke to suddenly being very rich in a short space of time. But he's quickly realized that the thing he's become rich in maybe isn't the most fulfilling. You know, there's only so many subathons you can do until you're like, you know what? You know, it's like a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a boring thing to kind of do again. Like you're going to have another round of celebrities, another round of challenges, another round of this. He's probably maxed it out and he's looking for other avenues to explore that kind of will keep that fire burning, will make him wake up in the morning, will give him a fucking drive for life, will make him motivated, blah, 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 blah. That's all well and good. We've all had those moments in our lives. Some of us have those moments in our lives in varying degrees. I had it in my life when I got that really cool job, that one I was working with Virgil and we did the streetwear master course. That was probably one of my best 9-to-5s I've had and definitely my most paid one. I got that job and at the time I was in the scene, I was in the streetwear fashion scene, and if you've grown up in that scene you would know everyone's dream is to work for like Supreme, to work for a big marketing company or brand company that allows you to fly around the world and have one of those cool jobs that are a bit vague, nobody knows what you do, but you're always at the fashion weeks, you got a Rimowa luggage, you fucking are on planes all the time and shit. Everyone wants those type of jobs. So I got that job. I got that job at Mastered and I was fucking enjoying it. But then I reached a moment, especially towards the end, where I started to realize, oh shit, this isn't what I want. I thought I wanted this. I thought I wanted a company card. I thought I wanted a company phone. I thought I wanted to travel to these fashion weeks all the time. I thought I wanted to be in and out of, I thought I wanted to go to New York for 2 days for a meeting, come back to New York on the second night, and then go to work there on the fucking third day. I thought I wanted that. But when I did it, I didn't need it. I didn't want that anymore. But it didn't make me hate people that had it or doubt why they got it. Some people can do that job and fucking love it forever. But for me, I thought, you know what? I'd rather go and do my own thing. I'd rather go and pursue my own dreams, aspirations, hobbies, or whatever it may be. But I had to do the job. I had to do the job for like a year plus, a 9-to-5 to fucking figure out, okay, cool, I don't want to do this. And I'm sure you guys out there have your own examples of things that you've done that you thought were going to be the one. You thought that was going to be the way through. You do it and it's not necessarily the thing you want to do. We all have forks in the road. Some of us even take it back to school. Some of it happens in school. Some of it happens in fucking school. Some of it happens in school. You're in school. You're about to go to college or uni. You pick a subject, you change it again, then maybe you do it, you drop out, you do another course. You have to kind of, you're kind of navigating through life in real time because decisions that you make, they're not set in stone. You can maybe choose a course with the best intentions. You go and do it the first couple of days, you realize this is not for you. So I think that's where he's at. He's at a fork in the road. He's trying to figure stuff out, what to do with the next part of his life. I don't think this is mental health, people. I really don't think this is a mental health issue. I think the term mental health is being overused, it's being abused, and it's being, in my opinion, disrespected. I think the people that are generally suffering from mental health issues will look at this and laugh. Because I'm also of the thinking that if you do want to use the label mental health, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get checked out by a psychiatrist. You're going to have to get that actually diagnosed by a psychiatrist if you want to use that label. 2026 going forward, I'm not having your people just dancing with the fucking mental health fucking pom-poms out. I'm not having it. Yes, you can be indecisive. No, yes, you can be fucking worried about your future. Yes, you can be stressed about where your next paycheck's gonna come from, how you're gonna pay your bill, right? Yes, maybe you can feel a little bit of envy, a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of frustration because your friends around you are being more successful than you are. Cool. Every human goes through those emotions at some point in their life. That doesn't mean you're suffering from a mental health issue. It really doesn't. It really fucking doesn't. Especially if you haven't diagnosed yourself, especially if you haven't got yourself diagnosed by a fucking actual fucking psychiatrist. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. It's really fucking insulting. In this case, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a young kid. And like I said, I can't imagine how it is to be him. To be like in your mid-20s and be a multi-millionaire, super comfortable, and then try to figure out what you want to do next. Because he doesn't want to do... He's clearly telling us that streaming it's not his long-term future. There is a post I'm going to show you in a minute where he actually, let me show you now, where he actually did say in the post that he's never going to quit streaming, right? This post here. He did post somewhere on his Twitter. I think that might be his Twitter community page that he's never going to stop. He will never stop streaming. Fine, in some capacity. But I think in terms of him being the streamer that he once was, doing subathon, streaming all the time, celebrating members, all that malarkey, it's probably going to hit a wall. He's probably going to hit a wall with that, you know, very, very soon, if he hasn't already. He's telling us this now, which is more than fine. But labeling it as mental health, I think, is a little bit insulting to people who actually suffer from mental health issues, you know? Debilitating mental health issues, the type of shit that you can't leave your house, the type of mental health issues where you don't want to open your curtains, the type of mental health shit you don't want to shower, the type of mental health shit you don't want to eat, you know? That sort of shit is real. And I think the one that he's talking about, yes, it's real in his head and what he's going through, and it's real, of course, to his circumstances, but just because you're at a fork in the road doesn't mean that you're suffering from mental health issues. Just because you're at a fork in the road doesn't mean you're suffering from mental health issues. That's what I'd have to say about that. I could be wrong, but I think I'm completely right in that. Big up Podcastables. What's this? Damn, Kick deletes that comment. My friend said that he had a full body arthritis and asked when they did diagnose. They said they Googled it, and that's a mental health problem. Exactly, yep, there you go. Exactly. Gay, we used to use that word. Gay used to be hardcore, but mother deletes faster than a white guy looking for a girl outside of a club. What's the Stone Cold Sober? Yeah. To be fair, it's an AI mod. Their Podcastables. I think some dicey words the AI mod goes a bit crazy on, which makes sense as well, innit? Obviously, I think content wise is fine. I just think the words on the screen they don't like. I think content wise, if you want to go crazy, you can go crazy on fucking Kick. But I think the content they're clearly a bit worried about, which is understandable, right? Understandable. But one thing I did like was this. Kai Cenat made a post on his social media and said the following: "Notice I've been speaking better because I've been reading." And he posted the most, one of the most obvious airport books in the world. Fucking Atomic Habits. I read it a few years ago, but it's a really good book as well. So the fact that he's starting to read now, he's starting to take more, it looks like he's taking more time away from social media and reading, or, I guess designing and preparing himself for his chapter coming up next as a designer. I think is a really good thing. I really do hope though still that my little hope that I had before when the news was announced that he was trying to pursue a career in fashion, have a brand, I really do hope he goes about it the right way and actually goes and tries to get like an actual fashion education. Like if he wants to go down the fashion route, it'll be so fucking cool, so refreshing. It'll be so different. It'll stand out from everybody if he actually does go and studies for a bit somewhere. You can also do your brand as you're doing it, but just to kind of mix it up so it's not just the same old thing that we always see with these kids coming out with their kind of like quasi merch brands. Actually go and study fashion. Then if you want to make a fucking streetwear brand, use all that information, all that knowledge, all the education you've learned from studying like actual menswear, actual women's wear, whatever you're going to study in the fucking, let's say University of the Arts or something, or maybe at fucking Parsons, right? Wherever you're going to study, use that information, use that knowledge, and then apply it to obviously the streetwear brand that you want to do. That'd be fucking cool. Imagine if you went to Tokyo. That's unlikely though. But imagine if you went to fucking Tokyo and studied at the university that fucking Nigo went to. I think the same university that Nigo and Hiroshi Fujiwara went to, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine if you went there. I forgot what it is. I think it might be Tokyo University or one of them, but I remember Nigo went to some uni in Japan. Imagine if he ends up going there to kind of follow in the footsteps of Nigo and eventually launch his brand. That'd be fucking sick. But most likely he'll just launch a whatever brand, right? But it would be cool if he did go and get a fashion education. But regardless, I like that he's reading and promoting that to his fan base. He's got a really, really big audience and fan base and community of kids, and the fact that he's promoting reading and shit and taking time away from social media and hanging out with your family and resetting yourself and discussing your issues, all this stuff, I think is really good. So big up Kai Cenat. I just don't want any more overuse of the term mental health. It's been overused in my opinion. Another thing I want to talk about is this video. Big up this content creator. I've just found out about it because a screen grab of her video was going viral on my side of social. Her name is Bailey Sheldback. Belly Sheldback or Bailey Sheldback. Forgive me for pronouncing it wrong. She made a really, really good video. It's titled "Everyone is an Artist Till Rent Is Due." And I really enjoyed this. I watched the full thing. I want to give you a bit of a clip of it, but I have got a little counter argument to kind of give on this particular topic. But it's a really good video. She's got really good observational commentary videos as well on her channel, mostly around creativity and all this malarkey, and obviously motivation, all that stuff as well. So make sure you check her out. Really cool video. Let's play it.
Someone said the other day that my whole channel is just performative depression, and to them I would like to say, hey buddy, can't be performative if it's real. Feel me? Anyway, there is so much about the way that life and society is structured that pisses me off so bad, because it quite literally takes like $200 just to wake up in the morning. And I heard someone say the other day, like, a great thing you can do for your mindset is immediately when you wake up, just be incredibly thankful that you've even woken up. Wake up and feel eternally grateful that you were given the chance to wake up. And I understand that. And that's a beautiful perspective. And I think that's something we should all do. The problem is that immediately when I do wake up in the morning, there is a feeling of existential dread at the fact that the bills have to get paid.
Yeah.
At the fact that if I do not work, or if I wake up sick, or I wake up tired, I'm going to have to work through that in order to produce the money to pay the bills. Like, it takes $200 at least just to wake up in the morning. That is something I wish didn't exist. I wish that things didn't cost as much as they did. I wish that we could be allowed to exist without also having extreme external pressures to just merely be alive.
I personally think that the $200 thing, I think it's true, but only if you step outside. If you don't leave your house, you don't have to spend any money. You're going to live a very boring life, a very lonely life, a very somewhat depressing life. But if you want to save money, stay inside. But that's hard nowadays because everyone's outside, FOMO, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that you enjoy is outside, da, 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 da. But if you're really down bad and you want to focus on your art, stay inside and focus on your art.
And so there's that dread that I face every single morning. But that aside, there's also been a few other thoughts and ideas that I've had on my mind, because I'm someone that loves passion. I'm someone that loves to love. I'm someone that is extremely artistic and would like to be extremely artistic. The problem is that everyone's an artist until the bills have to get paid. That's a quote that I read like years ago. Everyone is an artist until the bills are due. Everyone is an artist until rent is due. Meaning that everyone wants to be passionate and everyone wants to chase their passion, but can you actually be profitable while chasing your passion and have the ability to support yourself along the way?
I don't know if that's a misinterpretation of the quote. When I hear everyone's passionate, everyone's an artist until the rent is due, I hear more so everyone is like creative. Everyone can make really good, amazing art, but then when the rent is due, suddenly you might sell out because you have to pay the rent. Suddenly you might do things that maybe go against your artistic point of view, your integrity, your morals, your principles. That's what I got that interpretation of that quote from. I could be wrong, but I think she might have misinterpreted it, but it doesn't matter. Let's continue anyway.
And I think that strikes up a very difficult conversation that a lot have to have with ourselves of, is it realistic to chase what I'm passionate about? And that's a very tough conversation to have with yourself, because I think when you are passionate and artistic and you want to chase something like a crazy goal or a crazy dream, you can chase it. And you might be one of the lucky ones. You might have a miracle happen to you. You could make it against all odds, defying any statistics, defying any limits that are predisposed along your path. You might be able to make it, but then there's the majority of us that no matter how passionate you are, luck is just not on your side.
And I think that's a really good point to mention. People don't talk enough about luck. Maybe we're coming towards the end of the hustle culture. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's we're still in the remnants. We're still in the afterglow of the whole hustle culture thing. But I think people don't mention what luck does, the role of luck in people's lives, especially in if you're pursuing your passions and your creativity, entertainment, whatever, malarkey. There's a lot of luck involved. Like, I look at it similar to football. For instance, now at the moment, look at what's happening with Liverpool and their strikers. Liverpool signed 2 strikers over the price of 90 million. One in Etikite and the other one in Isak. And Isak was 120. I think Etikite was like 90 million. They signed the 90 million player first. They signed the 120 million player second. The 120 million player comes from Newcastle, bigger profile. He's done bits already previous season. Etikite comes in with a lot to prove. And what would have happened is that you would have assumed that Isak would have been the one playing. Well, it's not panned out that way. Because of injuries and form, Etikite has played more and he's been the most important player, or one of the most important players for Liverpool. Now, Isak is injured, and if Etikite stays fit, he's going to solidify his position in that strike force, especially if he's scoring goals. So luck is involved there, because he could have been unlucky and Isak could have hit the ground running, scored in every single game, and he wouldn't have got a sniff on the pitch. Same goes for creativity and stuff. Sometimes it takes luck. I don't know. Maybe being in the right room at the right time. Maybe having the right friends. Maybe putting your work up at the right time. It's sometimes not always to do with what you do and how hard you work. That's usually the really depressing side of it. It really has nothing to do with what you do and more so about timing and luck and shit, which people don't mention, especially the ones that make it. That's the one that frustrates me a lot. The ones that make it don't mention the luck. They just act as if it was inevitable. No, it wasn't, because there's a bunch of other people out there who also thought it was inevitable and never happened for them.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, what divides the passionate from the lucky? That's what I'm wondering. And that's what I wish I could like scientifically deduce between what weeds out those who are passionate about a subject versus those who make it.
I would say if you had to answer that question, who's the passionate lucky? My overall thinking when it comes to this stuff anyway, in general, as a topic, right? Just as a kind of conclusion, I think we need to get to a place where creative people, artistic people, just do it as a form of expression. Not everything has to be monetized. Not everything is about making it. Sometimes you just do it because you love doing it. It's like the guys who play pickup basketball. It's like the guys who play fucking five-a-side cage football on the fucking weekday. They're not doing it hoping to make it. They're doing it because they just love to play football. And that's what they do on a Wednesday night after work. Same with goes with creative people. I think we need to get to a point where creative people just paint for the sake of painting. Just take pictures for the sake of taking pictures. Just draw for the sake of drawing. Just make YouTube videos for the sake of making YouTube videos. Just DJ for the sake of DJing. Not because you have this lofty ambition to make it. Yes, would it be great if you did make it? Would it be great if you could live entirely? Your bills could be paid entirely by the stuff that you sketch in your fucking notebook? Of course. Would it be great if your bills could be paid entirely by the things that you knit, by the things that you crochet, by the hair that you cut, by the makeup that you apply? Of course, everyone would love that. But I think if you're doing those things anyway, you really owe it to yourself, the person above who gifted you with those skills and talents, to just pursue it for the sake of pursuing it, just for the fun, and less so about, oh, let me try and make it. And I think weirdly enough, if more of us, myself included by the way, I don't exclude myself in this conversation, if more of us did focus on actually just doing the art for the sake of doing the art because it was a form of expression, it was like breathing. We can't breathe, we can't not make art the same way that we can't not breathe. It's just something that we have to do. We're fucking, you know what I mean? It's this impulse, it's this drive that we have to do to pick up a camera, to pick up a pencil, to pick up a pen, pick up a paintbrush, to go outside, to dance, whatever. You just have to do it. And more than likely, you'll probably do the best things you've ever done because you're putting your fucking all into it and you have no expectation, no entitlement. You're not thinking past what you're actually doing in that moment. And maybe something could come along that way. But if it doesn't, guess what? You've got an amazing story to tell. You've lived an amazingly rich life. Can you imagine how rich your life would be if you're like in your 50s, if you're in your 60s and you're still drawing? Can you imagine how much more interesting you are as a person to kind of bump into at a bar somewhere? As a person to bump into in the fucking toilet cubicle of a nightclub somewhere? If you're the 60-year-old guy that didn't give up drawing, who loved anime and is still fucking drawing their anime, still fucking drawing, their versions of anime or making up comics or whatever, or making zines or taking pictures with a 35mm camera. I think that's a very rich and fulfilling life. Giving up those things to just work because you can't make it, I think is really, really sad. And kind of, if anything, disrespects the gift that you've been kind of blessed with from the man above. But I think people need to get back to just being okay with just doing the art for the sake of doing the art.
And that's what I've been thinking about, like 24/7, because I've been trying over the last year of my life, trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I know what I want to do. It's just a matter of I am passionate about it, but the bills need to get paid, you know? And
in that case, get a job that allows you to pay the bills. So you have to worry about it. My advice would be, which is very counter. This is very counter advice. I would personally say, don't get a bar job. I know that's what people say in this sort of scenario. Hey, if you're creative, get a bar job so you have time to do your thing and they can be flexible. No, you don't need flexibility. You're already flexible because you're an artist. Most artists are already, by nature, flexibility. What you need is structure. What you need is money. You need money to invest in your art, and you need structure to give you the parameters needed for you to do the art. So what you do is that I think you should get a job just a little bit above bar work. Just a little bit above bar work. Whether that's customer service, whether that's operations, whether that's admin, whatever it is, a job that is in the office or somewhere, but it's just above being in a bar. So it gives you the structure of working Monday to Friday at a set time, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it is. And then whatever time you have left in the day, that's when you focus on your art. That's when you focus on your passion. That's when you focus on your dreams. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And if you actually enjoy, if that's your actual passion, if that's your actual thing that you want to do, you won't find it hard. It won't be difficult for you to do at 9 to 6, come back home at 7, come back home by 7, eat your dinner by 8, 9, and then do your fucking art passion until you sleep at 12 or something. You won't find it difficult because that's what you like to do anyway. That's what you like to do anyway, so you won't find it difficult. And if you're really weirdly, oddly driven, you might not find it difficult because that's the thing that you want to do to get you out of the situation you're in. So it gives you that fucking drive. But I think that is what should be done. Get a job that pays you a decent enough salary, not enough to where you're going to be working around the clock and you won't have no time to do anything, but a job that is enough structured that will take you, that will allow you to kind of work Monday to Friday, and obviously the money that would allow you to invest back into your art.
How is it that I'm going to sustain myself along the road to what I want to become in this life? Well, I am working on the journey from where I am to where I want to be. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And another thing that makes me really upset about life also is that there are people mulling around in society who I think would be better actresses than the people winning Emmys, would be better musicians than those winning Grammys. I think there are people who could be better painters than anyone in the world, but they are individuals who did not get lucky.
Yeah and no, innit? Yeah and no. When I hear stuff like that, I think of that famous quote by that chef on that TV show, right? If my mum had wheels, she'd be a bicycle or something like that, right? Yes and no. I think there's part of this that you should use as motivation. Whereas if you're somebody that you think that you have untapped potential and people haven't seen your talent, you should want the world to know that you exist. That should drive you to keep pursuing what it is that you've been blessed with as a talent, as a gift, or whatever you want to pursue as your dream. You owe it yourself to at least try to make it happen. It doesn't happen, cool, but at least owe it yourself to make it happen. But you can't think of others on your journey like this, you're kind of wasting time and mental energy. That energy of wondering should be focused in on doing the work that you need to do to get where you need to go to. Because there's a bunch of people out there that haven't fulfilled their potential simply because they didn't have the courage, they didn't have the foresight, they maybe lacked the patience, they maybe just didn't give a fuck and kind of gave up and pursued other things. But you can't be crying over their spilt milk, you kind of have to focus on your own.
I think the most artistic people and the most talented people in society aren't actually being showcased. And that's a theory that I've held near and dear to my heart. Your mailman might have been an Emmy winner in another life. And it always comes back to Angelina Jolie's speech about how, why was she given the ultimate privilege of getting to be a millionaire and an actress and getting to be an artist as her career and getting to do what she does every single day and making the money she does.
I think that's a good perspective to have because it keeps you grounded overall. Have the perspective of like, hey, I'm really lucky. I'm very fortunate. Even if you got a dead end job, you're fortunate to have one. Some people don't have any. So I think it's a good thing to keep you grounded so you don't believe the gas. When you make it, you don't believe the gas that you're the best thing ever. You don't believe the hate when you're on your way there that you're the worst, or if you're there that you're the worst still. I think that's a good way to keep you even killed.
Well, there's someone across the world who is just as talented as her, just as deserving as her, and could do exactly what she does. They just had the unfortune of being born in different circumstances. And I think about that every single day. And that's why I think life is a scam. I really, really do. Because the most talented people are not being showcased.
I think life is a scam, or entertainment industry. Let's say the arts and entertainment industry is a scam because it is mostly about luck. And if it isn't about luck, it's about money. That's kind of why people don't like Nepo babies, you know? Nepo babies, I think people can look past sometimes even the opportunities. That can be a hard pill to swallow if you're not becoming an actress and this Nepo baby who is the daughter of some high executive or some former actor is getting roles before you can get roles, or is getting offered auditions that you never get offered, and then eventually landing those roles despite not being an actor for as long as you have, and blah 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 blah, and maybe not being that good. It's different when they're good. If a Nepo baby is good, you just have to chalk up to the game, right? If a Nepo baby is good at what they do, you have to just chalk up to the game. But if a Nepo baby is terrible at what they do, or they're average, I understand people's frustration with the fact that that person has got an opportunity that you would probably never get. But I think the more frustrating part when you get into the arts and entertainment industry, when you start working in there, what you realize is that it really, the one that frustrated me the most, what I saw anyway, let me talk from my own point of view. The one that frustrated me the most were the people that came from very affluent families. And I don't mean rich, I mean affluent. The type of affluence where your parents can pay your bills as a mid-20s person, as a person in their early 30s. That type of affluence. And what that affluence does, which I realize, is that it allows those people to just pursue their dreams and aspirations with no worry of paying bills or getting a 9-to-5. You know, like how a lot of people had dreams, aspirations, and then they had to kind of give them up because, like you said, the bills arrived and you had to kind of get realistic because you couldn't pursue your dream because you had no money. So you had to focus on the money. Now you're focused on the money. You have no time to pursue your arts. You have to just kind of, you know, soft quit your fucking career or your dreams. Well, they don't have that. You know, if you come from a family where your parents are affluent or wealthy, you don't need to give up on your dreams. You can still pursue that shit into your old age if you want to. You know, you can pursue it until your heart's content, until you fucking hit the fucking bucket. You don't need to stop. And I think that's the most frustrating part, because those people inevitably make it because you're just hanging around long enough. You outlast people, you're just around, you're available whenever, you can work. Like, I remember when I was, like I said it before previously, that was one of the things that people used to criticize a lot back in the day with Vogue magazine. I remember seeing a bunch of people that worked there back in the day, and that was all it was. It was full of like really rich girls who came from, girls that came from very wealthy families who were able to work as an intern at Vogue magazine Monday to Friday, all the hours in the day, and not worry about not getting paid. But if you're a 21-year-old girl from Essex and you want to make it in fashion, you don't really have the opportunity to work every day for free. You have to be paid because you just don't have, well, you got bills to pay and shit. You got rent to pay, mortgage to pay, blah, 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 blah. That is the most annoying thing. But again, you can't control these things. You can't control these things. You only can control what you can do. And as frustrating as those things can be, that's why I think the better mindset switch, the better approach switch shouldn't be about trying to make it. It should just be about expressing yourself in whatever avenue you want to express yourself in, because you're kind of compelled to do so. It's a part of who you are. It's ingrained in your DNA. You can't get up in the morning without singing. You can't get up in the morning without writing, without doing this. You have to do it. And I think you should switch it to doing that and make it as a form of expression that you just do, as opposed to trying to make it. Because if you focus on that thing, I think it will soothe your heart. It will allow you to kind of be a bit more patient with yourself, not be so harsh on yourself, and also understand that it isn't always about making it. Sometimes it's just about living a somewhat creative life, having, you know, a life that kind of centers around the things that you actually enjoy doing, and less about work, and more so about the things that you do in your free time, just for the sake of doing it, you know? Like, I love this idea of, like, you know, someone sitting at home with like 1 million canvases in their room that nobody's seen on Instagram because it's something that they just do for themselves. That's an amazing thought. That there's a guy out there, you know, making incredible contemporary art pieces. There's a girl out there making incredible sculptures that nobody's fucking seen, and they just do it every day after they come back home from their accounting job. They take off their heels, they take off their pencil skirt, and they get into their fucking overalls and make some fucking sculptures, make some vases, just for the sake of them feeling like that's what they're compelled to do. It's a form of their expression. It's a meditative process. They're not trying to make it. They're not trying to become super rich. If it happens along the way, cool. But it's not something they're actively pursuing. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it because it's something that they feel compelled to do. I think if people did that, they'll be more content and be less worrisome about everybody else.
People are born into the circumstances they are born into and have to learn how to navigate that. People have intense passion.
Oh, shit. My bad.
And are not allowed to do anything with that passion simply because they have to pay their bills, or they have to take care of their kids, or they have to take care of whatever it is that they have to take care of in their life. And people are given random wealth and random luck with no sense of direction or reason. And I think all of us want to be the lucky ones.
Yeah, that's the fact, but that's the thing. Like, the people, what she's doing is she's talking to the choir. The people at the top, they don't believe that though, for some reason. I don't know why it is. It's always fascinating me observing people from afar, noticing, especially within the podcasting world, mostly because I do a lot of commentary on comedy podcasts. Follow my channel, Random Show, link in the description and shit. And a lot of those guys never really admit the role that luck played in their careers, or they never really acknowledge it or thankful for it. It's always the mindset of like, no, I did this because I grinded. Yes, you may have grinded, but for sure, I would assume having a relationship with X, Y, and Z person probably helped. Being able to go on this show probably helped. Being able to travel here probably helped. Coming up at that particular time probably helped. All these things probably contributed to where you're getting to, where you're at now. It's not just solely a thing of like you single-handedly pulling yourself up by your bootstrap and taking yourself where you need to be one step at a time. It's sometimes other people coming along and helping you. Sometimes without you realizing, sometimes with you realizing. But again, I think that's what also should motivate you. Knowing that it's a scam, knowing that, you know, there's a lot of luck involved, should ease your heart at your struggles and your inability to make it. It should actually make you less depressed and more content with the journey that you're taking, and maybe how long it's been, and maybe this and complications, because inevitably you come back to the realization that it's all a scam. A lot of people get lucky, which is actually true, but that also should mean that it shouldn't discourage you. It should give you the motivation needed to pursue what you want to do for the sake of pursuing it, and let you know that because you haven't made it, it doesn't mean that you're shit, doesn't mean that you're bad. It's just one of those things.
We want to be the people who just work as hard as we can and get to where we want to be and reach that zenith and reach that peak of I am abundant in every area of my life that I wish to be. I am successful. And we all want to reach that. The conclusion that I'm coming to is that it is not solely about passion and hard work to get to a goal, and that is making me discouraged.
True.
It's making me very discouraged because there is a certain amount of luck that comes along with if you will succeed or not.
Anyway, you get the point. She's repeating herself a bit here, but you get the point. Again, great video. I think this is more so a youth thing as well. When you're young, you probably come to this realization. It's probably a big, like, brain buster. It really kind of makes your fucking brain melt realizing this. But I think most of us kind of know this, we even know that's a fact. But I also wouldn't want this to discourage anybody. I think realizing that life is a bit of a scam and it's all a bit of luck, and you need to get what you can out of life, how you can get it, and out of life, how you can get it. But also, it should soothe your heart. It should make you less anxious. It should make you less worried that you're not exactly where you want to be, because there is a lot of luck involved. There is a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of timing involved. There's a lot of requirement of resources and monies and shit involved in order for you to make it. Sometimes there's loads of external factors that aren't just all about you, that can play a role in your success or lack thereof. But I think that's why it's important for a lot of us out there to change our mindset and the way we look at how we do our art, we express ourselves, and just do it for the sake of doing it. We need to return back to that. It's probably never going to get there. I don't think we're ever going to get there personally. I'm just encouraging it anyway. I don't think we're going to get there solely because I think we all know too many influencers and people and shit we have too many accounts, too many, testimonies of big artists, and we've heard of their deals, we've heard how much money they make, we see the lifestyle they live, and everybody wants it, So I don't think I could ever put the genie back in the bottle. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna fucking try, and I'm gonna tell you that you're enough as you are, and if there's luck involved, then just look at the art that you do as a form of expression. Don't be too harsh on yourself that you haven't necessarily quote unquote made it, and instead just focus on doing it for the sake of doing it. That'll be my advice. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think I'm talking about that when I'm talking about that. So big up myself, big up my fucking self. Talking about stuff and working. Oh, this is a horrible article. Talking about stuff and work, and this is a horrible article, horrible video actually, sorry, courtesy of Sky News. Most of you are aware that there's a rise in unemployment here in the UK. People are really struggling to get jobs, even regular jobs and stuff like Tesco Express stuff, sales assistant stuff, bars jobs. They're very, very, very few and far between. And if they are available, there's an abundance of competition out there. People also applying for the same thing. So it's tough out there. It's tough out there. So Sky News kind of covered some of this. The caption says rising unemployment, failing job vacancies, and millions have given up looking for work as mental health problems take toll and the benefits bills soar. Let's actually check out this video about the rise of unemployment that's happening here in the UK. Nice positive way to start a Monday. Let's go.
Gone on Indeed and things like that, and they haven't even replied to me. But I did think that it would be quite easy to get another job, but I was wrong.
Any position now is going to be 100 and 150 people apply for each position, irrespective of what that position is.
Where the bread line used to be, we're down to the breadcrumbs line.
When 23-year-old Hashim resigned from his job as a prison officer last year, he didn't think it would be this hard to find another one.
At the time,
To be fair, I don't blame him. Being a prison officer sounds horrible. By the way, big up his fade. God damn, big up his fade, bro. Whoever gave him his fade went crazy. That fade is clean. But I don't blame him for resigning being a prison officer. Being a prison officer sounds like a horrible job. Being surrounded by so many delinquents, and crazy people like that. It must probably pay pretty decently, but the hours probably are horrible. And I'd imagine the working conditions, being surrounded by so many violent, dangerous, crazy people, manipulative people. I don't know if I could do it, to be honest. I don't blame him for quitting that job.
thought it would be easy, but it was actually the opposite, the complete opposite. I've gone on Indeed and things like that, and they haven't even replied to me. So it's been quite difficult.
He's put in more than 50 applications and is now running out of options. And across the country, it feels like the opportunities...
But it said 50. Honestly, people are interesting in it. I guess it depends if you're very picky about what you apply for. I think it says 50 applications. 50. Some people send 50 a day. He's only sent 50 so far overall. That's always a confusing one, isn't it? What do you do? In a bind. I think if you're in a bind and you're struggling, you apply for everything because you just want to get money in your bank account. You want to be able to pay your bills. But I know there are some people who abide by the philosophy or the ideology of only applying for the things that they actually want to do and not just applying machine gun style. Me, I'm a machine gun style applier. Me, I'm a machine gun job application applier or job vacancy applier because I'm also the type of person that doesn't. I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't feel like I don't think I'm ever defined by my jobs. I feel like jobs are it's like a utility. They're like a tool. They allow you the ability to make money, to pay your bills, keep a roof over your head, food in your belly, you know, that type of thing. So I don't necessarily feel defined by it. So I guess if you're somebody that maybe is your job is part of your personality, like you're an accountant, you know, you studied it in school, that's all you know. I can get why applying for a job to be a sales assistant at fucking Marks and Spencer's, Tesco Express or at Lidl can seem beneath you. But me personally, I think the best thing you can do for your mental is to apply for everything, and whatever first job takes you and gives you money, do that job. And then while you're doing that job, you can continue looking for the job that you did, you know, as a real career, and you can still look for that on the side. But I think just waiting by the sidelines, unemployed, for the job that you studied for, the ones you got experience for, to give you a chance, that is a recipe for disaster mentally. I'm not gonna lie.
Are shrinking. Vacancies have been falling since 2022, especially for entry-level work, and the unemployment rate has just hit 5.1%. At the Beaumont estate in Leighton, East London, Lee is helping local residents like Hashim to find work.
And so you're literally helping neighbours?
You're helping neighbours, and also it's like the Bush Telegraph, like I said. So I've helped a father. The father's asked me to help his daughter.
He says the current jobs market is the toughest he's ever seen.
If you look at any position now, there's going to be 100 and 150 people apply for each position. A lot of employers are not recruiting, so the pool of live vacancies is even smaller than it was.
The challenge.
That's fucking brutal, isn't it? So that guy don't stand a chance, isn't it? If he's applying for 50 roles a day or 50 applications a day, but there's over 150 people applying for each role, the numbers are already not looking good for you. You got to really get those numbers up. But then I guess I have a feeling he's probably applying for only the ones that he wants to do, like the jobs within his fucking area of expertise and shit.
Challenges facing Britain's labour market are complex. The availability of jobs is a problem, but the workforce also has struggles of its own. I've come to Bidston Rise in Birkenhead, where the unemployment rate is above 12%.
Whoa!
And almost 40% of working age people.
In that, look at that nice area. That's what you never know what people are going through. Look at all these nice semi-detached houses. All of these nice semi-detached houses that have really big gardens and nice fucking pavements or driveways on the outside. 12% unemployment is crazy.
People aren't even looking for work.
So this is our office.
Sally, Ellie and the team are working to turn things around, but it takes so much more than just polishing CVs.
I'd say about half the people that we're working with have been facing some sort of debt. We've had one person that we supported who their debt had caused them to be cut off for their internet and their telephone, which meant that they couldn't do things like get online to do job search. Sometimes you get a mix of people have the ambition.
That's fucking brutal, isn't it, right? That's fucking brutal. You're unemployed, you're looking for jobs, but because you're unemployed, you have no money to pay your bills. Then your phone lines and stuff get cut off because you can't pay your bills, and now you can't apply for jobs. And you can't go to the internet cafe to apply for jobs because you have no money to pay for the internet. You have to find a local library, you know, maybe you don't have a card, like you have to get that, and sometimes you have to pay for those. Ay.
But they think that, oh, but people like me don't do that. And it's trying to get past that confidence barrier.
Yeah.
A third of the residents here are on universal credit. A similar proportion have a reported disability, and rates of depression are more than double the
Have a reported disability. Not an actual disability, a reported disability. Big up my PIP man them. Big up my PIP man them and girl them. I see you. I know what you're doing, but carry on doing it.
national average. Mick is a landscape gardener by trade, but has been out of work for a decade since losing both his legs, the second to vascular disease.
I mean, I'm quite lucky. I know I'm getting on a bit now, but I've lost my legs, but I can still do some stuff. There's people out there who struggle to get out of bed in the morning, but they're having their benefits cut because they're saying they're fit for work. It's ridiculous.
Mental health challenges are easy to dismiss, but they can be just as debilitating as physical disabilities.
Hello, Mark. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
And for the local GP, Dr. Mark Fraser, nothing is happening in isolation.
The cost of food, the cost of energy, the cost of housing, cost of clothes, things have gone up considerably in price. Where the bread line used to be, we're down to the breadcrumbs line. There's no doubt that it's very difficult for you to contemplate healthy living when you're awake all night worrying about if you can afford the next bill.
That's very, very, very true. And I wonder as well, like, the only way they can sort this, obviously, is by lowering the prices, making the cost of living lower, and then I guess maybe improving pay, and then to get people out of benefits and shit. But if you're already, if you're not decent, but if you're living, if you're getting by on benefits, the last thing you're going to do is going to want to work a menial job, you know? There's no real desire to do so, especially with the cost of living being so high. You'd rather just stick with what you got. But I guess they have to give people the incentive to go out and work by offering them good wages and shit. And then also give them the incentive of working to make the money, to spend the money by making the stuff, you know, that they buy cheaper, which I guess is difficult to do too, especially in a recession.
And with all that baggage, entering the field of work only gets more difficult. Hashim has found that football is the best distraction, but looking for work is an even more competitive sport, and it's getting more and more difficult for some people to take part.
Fucking hell. Brutal, brutal, brutal. That's why whatever you have out there, be thankful for it. Whatever you have out there, be thankful for it. I think I've advised a bunch of people lately, especially some of my creative friends. I've advised a lot of people to not listen to the noise, not listen to their own head, get out of their own head, go for a walk and stay in their job. Stay in their job as long as possible. Hold on as long as you can. Save your money, whatever you need to do, but just stay in your job for as long as possible and pursue your thing on the side. Because I see a bunch of my friends who are, you know, maybe getting older, maybe getting frustrated, maybe whatever, who are asking me, oh, should I do this? Should I quit? It's like, brother, no. Don't quit your little bar job. Don't quit your little waitress job. Don't quit your job at the hotel. Don't quit your job at the telephone, at the fucking telephone center and shit, right? Stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. Build up that money. Use that capital to feed into your dreams and passions and shit, because it's dark out there. It's fucking dark. I know a lot of people that are really struggling and really finding it hard to find any gainful employment. I especially feel bad for the people that quit thinking they were going to find something else, right? They resign from their roles, hoping to kind of, you know, take the next step in their career. And then they get out there and they realize that there aren't that many jobs out there, you know, and maybe they should have kept the job that they had. It's fucking dark out there. It's fucking dark. One more clip and we'll move on. One more clip on this subject. One more clip and we'll move on. One more clip on this subject. It's courtesy of Channel 4.
People don't want to employ young people. They want the bog standard, someone who knows what they're doing.
Frank Jordan has 3 good A-levels.
Bog standard? You mean experience? They don't want to employ young people. They want of course they want the experience. Why would they want somebody with no experience? To be fair, I've been there though. I've been there. I remember my first job. I couldn't get my first job for ages. And I only got my first job working as a fucking cook and working in a bowling alley place, right? Like an arcade center. I wasn't, but I didn't work in the place where they clean the alleys or the lanes and shit, which is cool. I worked in the section where they cook the food, mostly. It was a little like fried chicken place. And I made like nuggets and all that shit. And I remember that job took me so long to get. No, that was my first job I ever got. But before that, I was applying everywhere. I think I used to go literally every weekend to a city center and hand out CVs in the hope of fucking landing a job. Nothing happened until my uncle obviously recommended me for that job in the fucking bowling alley. So I know how it feels to feel frustrated of like, fucking hell, how am I going to get the first job if I don't have experience, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Because of course I don't have experience because I'm trying to get a fucking job. I mean,
And ambitions to be a civil servant. Each week he meets a work coach, but a year spent looking for his first job has been demoralising.
Yeah, and you try and take your mind off of being told no hundreds of times, and you close yourself off, really, from people you know, your family.
Unemployment figures young work.
That's real depression traits. No, I mean, not people are, I've made too much money, I don't know what to do. That is real depressive states. When you start shutting yourself up from society, do you know what I mean? That's real. None of that other shit people have been talking about.
Workers are feeling the impact of the tough jobs market. 85,000 18 to 24-year-olds became unemployed in the 3 months to October, the biggest rise for 3 years. The government wants to stop the rise of what it calls youth inactivity. As it stands, nearly 1 million 16 to 24-year-olds are neither working nor learning.
God damn. Nearly 1 million. Yo, the Gen Z kids out here are not fucking around. They're like, fuck you. Big up the Gen Z kids. Big up the fucking Gen Z kids.
Strikingly, the majority, more than 500,000, are not classed as unemployed because they're not seeking work. 28% of young people cite poor health, including mental health, as well as disability, as the barrier, a figure which has doubled in a decade.
Wow. I think we're at a risk of a lost generation.
Nationwide, 1 in 8 haven't been able to get off to any real start in life. Alan Milburn has been tasked with finding out why.
This is almost 1 million young people not in education, employment and training. If they formed a city, it would be the 3rd biggest in the UK. I think there's a lot that's gone wrong. I think there's a lot gone wrong on the demand side. There's something happening in the youth labour market. The number of young people in employment has fallen since the pandemic. Youth unemployment is rising.
The government's going to subsidise 6 months of paid work for young people who've been job hunting for 18 months. They'll be expected to step up or face sanctions.
Fucking hell, okay. It's bleak out there for us. It's bleak out there. Wherever you are, it's fucking bleak. Keep your head on a swivel. Stay in your jobs and your careers that you're in. Do not leave them too hastily, because I guarantee you it is fucking bleak out there. It is fucking bleak out there. Big up the bleaksters. Big up the blood clot bleaksters. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. This is pretty cool news, right? This is pretty cool news regarding the Future Laboratories Air Force Ones, friends and family pair. Futura's a good guy, man. Futura's a good guy. I met him once before. I've spoken loosely to his daughter Tabitha McGurr back in the day. That was a girl that everyone back in the scene used to fancy and shit. Big up her and shit. I forgot the brother's name again. Is it something 3000? I forgot his name. The guy that does the photography. The other son. Really fucking cool. Really cool family overall. But Futura is like a legend in streetwear, a legend in graffiti, legend in the art world, just a legend overall. And he's made some pretty legendary Nikes over the years. These ones that are due to come out, they're only friends and family. Air Force One take inspiration from a pair that he dropped a few years back. And they're covered in, like, you know, cash signs and shit, and the olive green upper is fucking beautiful. The see-through icy sole, the pink like almost linen, if I'm not mistaken, linen or silk inner sole. Fucking gorgeous shoe. But they're clearly of very high quality, right? They've also got the fucking Futura embroidery there on the fucking heel. These are not some play GR shits. These are expensive shoes, and a lot of people wanted them, but they're only going to be available for friends and family. I think it's to mark an anniversary and shit, but Futura, being the great guy that he is, has made some pairs, or two pairs available for a raffle for a regular person to win. Unfortunately, I did not find the raffle in time. If I'm not mistaken. I did not find the raffle in time. I think the raffle's already closed. But there was a raffle on here that you could enter in order to get a pair if you wanted. But unfortunately, that raffle has been closed. So let's just continue reading the article and just kind of give him the props regardless. So it is courtesy of the Futura Laboratories website. It says history of For the Love or Money, FLOM. It says, this is the holiday season, a season of friendship, family, and going as such. Let's take a trip down memory lane. In 2004, Futura opened a Futura Laboratories flagship in Fukuoka in Japan. To commemorate the store's opening, Futura created the Nike SB For Love or Money, the Flom Dunk, a shoe that he made only to gift, not to sell, to the closest friends as a symbol of thanks to those who made their way to Japan for the store's opening. He also had a surprise raffle. 2 customers who made any purchases were unknowingly participants to be chosen at random, each winning a pair of Flom. So he has history, it sounds like. Futura has a history of always looking after the fans as well. Not just looking after his cool mates, because unfortunately, in Futura's generation, Futura's crew of people, there's a lot of those guys that they kind of like dunking and flexing on kids. I remember when I was coming up, a lot of them did that. Well, you know, it's like, hold on, you work in the industry, you're also like 40 years old, of course you got money to buy these things, and you work in the industry, you get access to things that I don't get access to. It's not really a big accomplishment if you work at Nike, if you work at a big advertising company, if you just got a job somewhere and you're that age and you're flexing on kids and you got that access of those type of stuff. It didn't make any sense. But Futura has always been a good guy. Futura has always been one of the heads, right? One of the people. So I love that he made these limited edition shoes, but he still had them available for the fans. The now famous all over money print motif on the sneaker was always a very intentional design point of tension. It was one of the part metaphor prompt and another part of a play on the acronym used by the famous Indian bounty hunter. The FLOM acronym was kind of stolen but flipped from a Star Wars bounty hunter named 4L0M or 4LOM. And as he was a mercenary, immediately fought for the love of money, my personal way of renaming things to suit my mental. Later, this idea comes up about money and passion and motivation and desire and greed and creativity and everything. So I changed the word OF to OR and captured my true meaning of this acronym with an abstract twist. Big up Futura 2000. From the sneakers design process forward, a powerful question was literally and figuratively emblazoned on the shoe's fabric. Would Futura's friends keep the shoes for love and express the friendship that means more than money? Or would the human impulse reign supreme, or money, and seeing them resold singularly for a short-term monetary gain? In the years since FL release, the OG Floms have become somewhat of a sneaker myth. How many pairs were actually made? Who got on them? The secondary market transaction have affixed a general zip code of financial value to them, but perhaps for the original 24 owners, was it at the cost of the spirit of friendship? Actually, are they available? Let's see. Do they available on StockX or whatever on GoTo? Let's see. Flom Dunks. Can you actually get a legit pair? To be fair, I would never trust buying them online if you can't buy them from an actual collector personally that you know of, that you can veto. I wouldn't trust buying them online ever. I would definitely not trust buying them online. So let's see what we got. We got Go, we got Flom. Let me see what we got available here. So we got StockX and we've also got Go. Let's see how much they got them available for. So we got the black pair, which is the pair that I remember from back in the day. That was a black and yellow pair. That was the one that was tied into the, what was it called? Beijing Olympics or something like that. What was it again? The Live Strong. That's it, the Live Strong campaign. So this was time ago. This is like early 2000s. So that color is not the one you want. Let's see if we got another one. Let's see. Let me search. Can I search? Yeah, I can search. Let's do Flom Dunk. Let's do Flom Dunk. I can search in there, can I? Yes, I can. Okay, that's the original one there, right? The shoe surgeon. No, this one here. So that's the original Flom Dunk. What's available? Ooh, 75,000 allegedly. 75,000. Any other sizes? Let's see. Or is that just that one size? Go. You scroll down. That's the Flom. Yeah. Shit. With defects, by the way. With defects. So it's a US 9 with defects. 75,000. So pretty. So the colorway or the design is fucking phenomenal, though, right? With all the fucking notes around the world printed on the upper. You got this like it looks like a brownish material. I didn't know it was brown. I thought it was black. It's more like brown. It's more like brown panels with the white laces. It's a really cool design. I'm not gonna lie. He absolutely went crazy with these. I'm not gonna lie. Futura absolutely went crazy. And you've got the FL Studios on the back with the embroidery too. Absolutely unworn, straight, new. 75,000. God damn. God fucking damn. Nice shoe though. Absolutely crazy shoe. But so that's that one with that design. Let's go back to the article. 75 grand. In 2025, the question still remains for love or money. To celebrate his 70th birthday in 2025, Futura ran back the Flom ethos, once again returning to Japan as a backdrop for the pivotal life moment, making this time around 70 individually numbered friends and family Air Force Ones by creating a gift for others. And once again, he has pulled an audible. Yeah, they're fucking beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. That's the one. So there you go. For love or money. I reckon most people will end up selling them, to be fair. I think most people will definitely end up selling them. There's not a chance people will keep these shoes. In this economy, there's not a fucking chance. I'll be curious to see how much they go for. I still think the Dunks are the nicer shoe. But I still would love to see who ends up getting them. I'm not going to lie. I still would love. Selfless Aston. Okay. Want to donate to the World Food. Okie dokie. Futura will randomly select 2 winners to receive a pair. The winners will be notified on Monday via email. Fair play. Fair fucking play. Absolutely cool shoe. But you know what's really funny? The reason why I remember when to talk about this. One time, right, ages ago, do you guys remember the Uncle Dunks? I remember one time in my area where I live at, I saw a homeless guy wearing a pair of Uncle Dunks. I'm pretty sure they were fake. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure the Dunks he had were fake. But I do remember seeing a homeless guy sat outside the supermarket near my house begging for money wearing a pair of Uncle Dunks. Like legit, on God, I remember this day. And then the next day, or the next time I went back to the shop and walked past him, he was shoeless. Yeah, so I don't know if someone stole them from him. I don't know if somebody gave him 20 quid and he gave them to, I don't know what happened, but I remember walking past this guy who was sat outside of a supermarket near where I live, asking for change like all the homeless people do. And I looked down, I was like, oh my God, that guy's wearing Uncle Dunks. But they look like they were covered in piss and stuff. I don't know. They look very wet, right? I was like, ugh. You know what I mean? But I was thinking, Jesus, somebody could probably buy them off him, clean them up and sell them. And then the next time I walked by, he didn't have the shoes on him. So somebody definitely purchased them off this guy, and they probably sold them. So if you got sold a pair of Uncle Dunks without the box that were maybe a little bit water damaged or whatever, trust me, I know who wore them. A very, very outdoors guy, right? A guy that lives a somewhat alternative lifestyle definitely had your shoes on. I swear to God, I definitely remember that. I definitely remember that. But big up Futura anyway. Big up Futura. Big up Blood Clot Futura. That's the shoes themselves. People wearing them. Holiday. Oof, they look so fucking good. Really, oh, so fucking good. Him, who's that? Who's he with there? Is that another writer? Someone called Coco 144. A nice little illustration there, painting. Some more pictures of the For Love and Money Air Force Ones. Gorgeous shit, man. Big up Futura. Look at the shoes. Wow. Famalam. Absolutely crazy. 70 on ones. Absolutely crazy. So big up Futura. Yeah, and they're all numbered too. All individually numbered. 1 of 70. Jesus Christ. Such a good shoe. Such a fucking good shoe. Big up Futura. Big up Blood Clot Futura. I'm also curious about who ends up buying them on the secondary market. Who's going to end up buying the floms on the secondary market? Because that's going to happen for sure. I'd love to know what the price will be. What would the price be for somebody that buy them on the secondary market? I'd love to fucking see that. Let's actually see. There's somebody got available the Air Force One. Is it available to purchase yet? No, not just yet. Not just yet. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, big up this guy on Subway Talks. Big up this guy. His name is George Severus. Big up George Severus. I actually listened to him for the first time talk on How Long Gone podcast. He sounded really fucking cool, really fun, really good episode. Actually, I recommend if you're a fan of How Long Gone podcast or you haven't listened to it before, definitely check out his episode. Really fun and informative episode. And he had a really great hot take. Really fucking great hot take. The caption says, straight people have terrible taste in gay people. Really great hot take. Maybe one of the better ones that I've seen in recent months or even since Hot Subway Takes has kind of blown up. I really enjoyed this hot take from George Severus.
So what's your take?
Straight people have terrible taste in gay people.
100% agree. Don't get mad at me, but I 100% agree.
Think of all the gay celebrities that straight people have made famous.
They're wrong.
Ellen, the Queer Eye Guys, Randy Rainbow, the Gay Bachelor.
I like the Queer Eye Guys.
All right, listen. For 7 years, straight people let the Queer Eye Guys into their apartments. No questions asked, by the way. They said, come in, yeah, take my sofa and compost it. It was given to me by my grandmother. She fought for women's rights. I don't give a about her anymore. Yeah, replace it with a slab of reclaimed wood. Reclaimed from where? Room and board, by the way. If the Queer Eye Guys came to my apartment, I would call Homeland Security. I would say there are 5 terrorists here. They're all dressed like Mugatu from Zoolander. There is a bomber jacket that is a shade of purple. I didn't even know it was on the Roy G. Biv spectrum.
Well, I don't know that.
The Roy G. spectrum?
That's gay talk.
Oh, because it's a rainbow?
I thought it was just called the rainbow.
I cannot believe this.
Who the calls it the Roy B. Jev?
This is anti-science. Open the schools.
What kind of gay icons are we looking at here? John Waters?
John Waters, of course. Melissa Etheridge, Niecy Nash. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kareem. This is all because of...
Why'd you say my name like that?
Because I'm accusing you of something. Are you ready? Okay. Progressive straight people want so badly to support gay people that they are so forgiving. So they meet the most annoying gay person ever, and they're like, I have to be supportive. Like, I guess he's annoying because he's gay. Well, that's homophobic. You think gay people are annoying? And suddenly that annoying gay person, all he has to do is flatter the straight people. He gets promoted, whatever. And suddenly that annoying gay person is Secretary of Transportation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's so fire.
Meanwhile, there are thoughtful, talented, smart lesbians every day. Cynthia Nixon lost to Andrew Cuomo. Do you understand what I'm saying? She had all the same ideas as Zoran. Shout out. People were like, there's something off about her. Why? Because she has a butch wife? Because she has a butch wife and loves theater?
Who's the most annoying gay person?
Donald Trump.
Honestly, that was a brilliant hot take. Big up George Severus. That was a fucking brilliant hot take. I fucking enjoyed that. More so because I feel like I've definitely, in my few outings that I've been out to queer events, I've definitely felt myself like, I'd say like the word pandering might be too heavy, but I think pandering might be the right word. I felt myself pandering to the gays and to the queers. I felt myself like, you know, I guess shrinking myself a little bit, and also turning a blind eye sometimes to, like, you know, whack behavior, corny behavior, annoying behavior, just because I want to be an ally and shit, you know? But I think the greatest way to be an ally probably is to treat those motherfuckers the same as you would treat anybody else, you know? Not to act as if like, oh, because you're in their space, because you're at their parties and shit, because, you know, whatever else it may be, that you not, you know, you kind of give them more of a blah, give them more, oh, it's okay. Nah. You call out annoying people, you call out frustrating people, you call out fucking whatever people, whatever they are, you call them out. You call them out fucking out. Because if you don't, you end up in the world full of the people that he mentioned. That was a fucking brilliant hot take. Big up George Severus, man. I fucking enjoyed that. Big up George Severus. Big up Blood Clot George Severus. We love it. Talking about gay people. Let's talk about David Walliams. This is fucking crazy. Let's talk about David Walliams. Exclusive from The Telegraph. David Walliams dropped by the publisher over inappropriate behavior towards David Walliams dropped by publisher over inappropriate behavior towards women. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see this one coming. I know a lot of people are really plugged into the industry, have shared stories and accounts and little vague things here and there about David Walliams being up there with like a Russell Brand in terms of his sex pestiness and of saltiness and all this malarkey. That people say that he's definitely up there with Russell Brand, allegedly. Now, I don't know nothing about that. I've always been of the thinking that he was one of those closeted gay guys anyway. I never really understood, you know, what that whole deal was all about. But again, everyone do what you want to do. If you want to come out, if you don't want to come out, it's no one's business. But this development is kind of crazy. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect him to be dropped by his publisher, because this means there's definitely something coming. There's definitely something brewing, an investigation, wherever it may be, because publishers usually don't drop, especially someone like David Walliams, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a very, very popular and very well accomplished children's book writer. So he probably makes his publisher a lot of money. So if they're dropping him, and it's going to cost them, and it's going to hurt their pocket. Not only going to hurt him and his reputation, all this malarkey, it's going to hurt the publisher's pocket. So if they're dropping him, I'd imagine they're dropping him with good reason. So let's read the article courtesy of The Telegraph. It says as follows. Let's zoom in a little bit here. David Walliams has been dropped by his publisher following an investigation by The Telegraph into inappropriate behavior towards young women. Walliams, one of the country's best-selling children's authors, faced accusations that he had harassed junior female employees at HarperCollins. Jesus. Imagine what type of a scumbag you have to be to harass people that work at the book publisher that, you know, pays you loads of money to write shitty children's books. One woman who raised her concerns was given a 5-figure payout by the publisher and left the business. The publication began investigating allegations of inappropriate behavior by Walliams last year. The decision to drop Walliams comes after a sudden departure of Charles Readyman, the publisher's former executive, who left in October. Kate Elton succeeded him as an interim boss. It's understood that Walliams did not know about HarperCollins' investigation and that his conclusions were not put to him. Rah, Ted. Is that allowed? That must be allowed, right? Because they did it anyway. Can you investigate somebody at a workplace but then not tell them they're under investigation? Is that possible? Or if you come to the conclusion, like they don't present the evidence to you so you can fight your case. They just prepare the evidence to fire you. I guess that's what they do. Jesus. Well, I guess it depends on the severity of the crime. If it's obviously a crazy allegation for the safety of others, they probably can't tell you. So I guess it is what it is. A spokesman for Harper's Collins told The Telegraph, after careful consideration and under review and leadership, and under the leadership of its new CEO, HarperCollins, UK has decided not to publish any new titles by David Walliams. The author is aware of this decision. It continues. HarperCollins takes employee well-being and extremely seriously. Okay, cool. And has a process in place for reporting and investigating concerns. To respect the privacy of the individuals, we do not comment on internal affairs. Williams' agent said David has never been informed of any allegations raised against him. Doesn't mean he's innocent though, right? He didn't say he's not innocent. He didn't say he's innocent. He was not party to any investigation and not given any opportunity to answer the question. David thoroughly denies that he was behaved inappropriately and taking legal advice. Yeah, you can say that, but let's be real. You don't get fired from a place like HarperCollins as a client if you're not doing something inappropriate, right? Because like I said, they are also losing money on this. They'd much rather keep David Williams as one of their clients. But the fact that they're not is proof that most likely it's like, you know, what you've done is probably unforgivable. Williams, who rose to fame more than 20 years ago through the comedy series Little Britain, has since become one of Britain's most successful authors, with more than 40 books and short story collections to his name and sales of more than 60 million copies. In 2019, it was estimated that he and his publisher had sold 100 million pounds worth of books. Fucking hell. So he's made a lot of money, So, and also it seems like done a lot of horrible things along the time. On Friday, he posted pictures of himself enjoying a holiday in Maldives. Okay, I guess it's to show that he's not bothered, but you clearly are. Whenever people post pictures like this to show that they're not bothered, it always has the opposite effect. I wonder if they know that. It never ever shows that you're not bothered. It always comes across like you're definitely bothered and pissed off about the situation. But, you know, these guys are going to do what they're going to do. It continues. Williams's books are widely used in schools and have been translated in 55 languages, according to HarperCollins, and have been adapted to television and BBC. The 54-year-old television career has suddenly stalled following allegations of sexist remarks he made to a judge on Britain's Got Talent. So he's got a bit of previous, right? He's got a bit of previous on Britain's Got Talent. He already said some dicey things to some ladies, so he has some previous. But it can now be revealed that he was also at the center of a major HarperCollins investigation last year after a junior employee complained about his conduct. Jesus Christ, madness! The world's best author, David Williams. Okay, look at him. It's understood that the staff were interviewed as part of the inquiry by the publisher, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation. Exactly, there we go. So you'd imagine a corporation, a publisher owned by Rupert Murdoch, they would probably, if they could, want to keep him. The fact that they didn't keep him is proof that he was, you know, a piece of shit. Well-placed sources told the Telegraph that following the investigation, some junior staff were kept from the author, and one employee agreed to a settlement and received the payoff. The former staff also told this publication that they were told to work in pairs when meeting. Jesus Christ. Is it that bad? It got that bad. Me and him solo, it got that bad. Former staff were told to meet him in pairs and were advised not to visit his home. To be fair, what type of meeting would need to occur if you're a publisher to go to an author's house? Like that's crazy. Neutral ground always, neutral territory always. Bar, restaurant, cafe, co-working space, like someone's home. That's crazy. That is fucking. If they want to come and collect something, cool, whatever, or something. But you two meeting there, I don't even know. Just forget it. No, just forget it. No meetings at home. That's a classic sexual assault, sexual harassment playbook thing, isn't it? It's up there with I'm just gonna need to go up and get something. You go up to the room, they close the door, they go in the toilet, you sit on the bed, they come back out completely naked, you know? It's one of those classic moves that you always read about in fucking abuse stories. The bathrobe thing, give me a massage, my back is feeling tight, all that shit. Yeah, and then another one is like, oh yeah, come to my house for the meeting. Crazy talk. In 2023, a junior employee raised concerns. An investigation by the publisher followed. Employees who had worked with Williams were interviewed as part of the inquiry, which also involved at least one in-house lawyer. Jesus Christ. The investigation concluded in 2024. The Telegraph understands the company took steps to ensure Williams and some members of staff would be kept apart. So they had no idea. So they really went out their way to make sure that none of David Williams's fans or I won't say conspirators, but I say I guess none of David Williams, none of the people that worked at HarperCollins that were friends of his, they also kept them away from the investigation, so nobody found out, because this also didn't leak to the press. I don't think They kept this really close to their chest. Well done, everyone involved. Really well done. A junior woman who had raised concerns about the author's behavior left the organization after concluding the settlement. Of course, I'd leave too. Fuck working there. I wonder what happened. I'd assume, judging by the meet people in pairs, I would assume he got really handsy. That's what I would assume. I'd assume he got really handsy with some of the junior people that worked at HarperCollins, especially the girls. Maybe he got suggested. Maybe he started doing that thing that a lot of creeps do, where they start talking super explicitly to somebody they don't really know, asking very intrusive personal questions and shit. I bet you that was all the stuff that he probably did. I wonder. Either way, absolutely fucking crazy. Williams was already a major television star when he started writing children's books, which were published by HarperCollins in 2008. Often producing 2 novels a year, Williams became extremely valuable to his publisher. According to the industry magazine, he was responsible for what you see. That's a good example. That's how you know he did some fuck shit. According to industry magazines, David Williams was responsible for 44% of HarperCollins children's book sales in the UK in 2018. Yeah, you don't let go of a guy like that unless they did some real fuck shit, you know? Unless they did some real top of the line fuck shit. However, his popularity as a children's book author has started to wane, and he was being criticized for including harmful stereotypes. According to the bookseller, his sales over the summer fell by more than 60%. Okay. In most recent years, Williams has been faced with criticism when he was caught masking obscene comments, making obscene comments, and contestants on Britain's Got Talent. In 2022, a leaked transcript revealed that he had referred to one contestant as a cunt, I'm assuming, and she thinks you want to F her, but you don't, about Ambassador. About another story. This is fucking crazy. He's just letting it all hang out at work. The remarks were made during an audition at the London Palladium. At the time, Williams said that he wanted to apologize for disrespectful comments and that he never was a part of he never intended to be shared. Following this, he left his role at TV program. Williams has since focused on increasingly on promoting his books, going on his tours to New Zealand and stuff, and traveling across Britain this autumn with his latest work, Santa and Son. But yeah, David Williams got cancelled, man. David Williams has been cancelled. BBC spokesman said, "While we're not making any changes to the festival region, with no future projects involving David Williams." So yeah, he's been cancelled, it seems like. Again, the pictures don't do him any justice, to be fair, some of his fancy dress. But yeah, he's been cancelled, it seems like, because he likes to argue too much. And in general, this is a pretty crazy headline anyway, you know? Pretty fucking crazy fucking headline. So let's see how it pans out for these guys, because I'll be curious to know how it pans out. Because a regular person gets done like this, it's over. It's a wrap. But people like David Williams, they always end up coming back somehow, some way. Moving on, let's talk about this topic. This is a very interesting one, and one that's made me think a lot about different scenarios. So this topic revolves around Brooklyn Beckham, the Beckhams in general, and just familial ties and shit. If you guys don't know, allegedly, it's not really allegedly because we see it, but essentially, if I'm not mistaken, Brooklyn Beckham is married to some lady called Nicole Peltz, or Pets, whatever her fucking name is. Apologies to you, wherever you are. And this Nicole Peltz woman, who is Brooklyn Beckham's wife, Brooklyn Beckham is also, you know, David Beckham and Posh Spice's firstborn. So, if I'm not mistaken, you know, Nicole Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham got married, and somewhere along the line, I don't know where, don't know how, Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice, somehow ended up falling out with Jake Paul's wife, you know, or not Jake Paul's, Brooklyn Beckham's wife, sorry. Victoria Beckham ended up falling out with her son's wife, somehow, who knows how. And in this scenario, Brooklyn Beckham decided to cut his family off, not communicate with them, and be loyal to his wife. And my issue was, obviously, off the back of the injury, everyone's mocking it and shit. Yeah, I get it. But my thing going forward is just more so, what are you meant to do as a guy? Because this development is really interesting. There's another development in this, in that it was being told around this country that, or, you know, around in papers around the country, word was put out there that allegedly that, what do you call it? Yeah, word was put out there, sorry, that Brooklyn had unfollowed his mum and his dad on Instagram. But then Romeo Beckham cleared it up and said that's not the case. And in fact, what happened is that Brooklyn Beckham has now blocked not only his mum and dad, but also Romeo. So it got me thinking in general, what do you do as a guy in this situation? Imagine you're in a scenario where your wife gets into a scrap with your mum, right? Your wife gets into a scrap with her mother-in-law. What are you meant to do in that situation? You know, what are you meant to do? Like, how can you actually help? Like, what can you actually do to help? Because I don't think it's that easy. Because I think in an ideal world, if you're a man, you probably should be siding with your wife anyway. You know? Regardless of the beef, you should be siding with your wife. But at the same time, you should be trying actively to mend their relationship. Because they're both going to be in your life for a long time. So you should be trying to seal the relationship. You know? You should be trying to seal it as much as possible. Every opportunity you should be ready to seal. So I don't know. Or to heal the relationship. So in this situation, I don't know how to feel for the Brooklyn kid. Because obviously it's a bit fucked up, right? Unfollowing your parents on social media is aggressive, excessive, and unnecessary. But, you know, if some madness happened behind the scenes that we don't know about, because I've heard some people say that allegedly that Nicole Peltz girl refused to be an ambassador or something for her brand, Victoria's. I don't know if that's true, but allegedly that's what they're saying. And I don't know. It's a mad situation to be in. I don't really, envy everybody involved in the situation. It must be fucking crazy. But it's a mad thing to see play out, because usually the Beckhams have a very clean media image. Dave Beckham hasn't really involved in any kind of passive play for the most part. They're very kind of, whatever, give it and go type of a team. But when they want to, it will get fucking techie. So let's see how it plays out for them. I really hope they sort it out as a family. I really hope they get back together. But I kind of don't blame Brooklyn, man. You have to sometimes side with your wife in a situation. Side with your mom in a situation would be kind of nuts, especially if she's not in the wrong. It doesn't matter if she was in the wrong anyway, but it's a bit nuts if she wasn't in the wrong. So I kind of get it. I kind of fucking get it. Moving on, let's also talk about this. This is actually kind of cool news. Big up Deadline regarding Bowen Yang. I know he finally left SNL the other day, but I'm a real N-word. I don't watch SNL. But this headline did come out, which I forgot to speak about, because it involves one of my favorite clubs. It says Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers teaming on a new comedy for Searchlight Pictures. And when I read you the description, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the club. Let's read the description of the article. Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers, co-hosts of the popular podcast Las Costalistas, as well as the Las Costalistas Culture Awards, are co-writing and co-searching or co-starring in an untitled comedy for Searchlight, Deadline has learned. The film is inspired by the question, why didn't Chris and Dan get into Berghain? A multi-part episode of the podcast search engine about two Americans who are flying across the ocean to try and get into Berghain, the most exclusive nightclub in the world. I fucking love it. I love the idea. I'm not going to lie. I'm really all for people taking their personal experiences and televising them, describing them in some way, presenting them in some way. I'm really for that. I'm really for the ability to maybe look back on those clips, look back on those things and remember, oh shit, that was a crazy time, I really don't mind those occasions. I really fucking don't mind those occasions at all. I'm not that precious about the club. I love the club, don't get me wrong. I want to go, if it was up to me, I'd go there fucking every weekend. But I also love it when people are able to take it and kind of, present it to the fucking mainstream, present it to the general public. That's what Bowen Yang is, especially after being on SNL for so long. This is something that the whole world will get to see and appreciate. So I really love that. It says Yang and Rogers reunite with Searchlight after starring in Fire Island, their critically acclaimed 2022 queer rom-com from Andrew Ahn, which went straight to Hulu. Olivia Girk, Ollie Obst, and 3 of the others as well. Blah, 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 blah. And then, Yang and Rogers and Las Costalistas were named Podcast of the Year, Part-Time nominee recently. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. That looks like a fun episode. That looks like a fun TV show, TV premise about why he didn't get into Berghain. I think it's going to be great to bring some comedy and levity to Berghain and that whole scene. Because there's people on the Reddit, people in the Telegram groups, people all over the place who will take that place way too seriously. So it'd be quite cool to see someone poking some fun. It kind of reminds me a little bit. There was some guy, I wish I remember his name. Maybe I'll include a clip later when I clip this up and shit. But I remember stumbling across this guy. He's a German dude. Well, I guess he's, He's just a guy who lives in fucking Berlin, and he does really cool or really funny content. And he made a really cool bit. He made a cool clip that I liked, where he was just coming out of Berghain, literally, you know, coming out like how we all have done when the sun is up and shit, and you're trying to adjust your eyes and you put your jacket on. He was coming out of Berghain, and he immediately turned to his camera and said, "Oh my god, I just got banned for life." I forgot what the name is. There's a term for it, right, in German about being banned. He said that he said that word, and then he just carried on walking. But he did it right in front of the queue in Berghain. And if you know nothing about Berghain, you'll know that fucking queue, hey, that fucking queue is serious towards the front. People don't smile, they don't laugh, they don't drink, they don't do anything because they're really nervous about trying to get in. So as he's doing that, everyone's kind of giving him death stares, right? They're giving him death stares. There's a mix of confusion. You know, they don't understand what's going on. So I do like that. So if you can bring some comedy level to that space, I think it'll be very well received. Can't wait to see what they do. Also, I'm curious to see what part of the club they'll use as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they might be stingy and say, no, you can only use our 10 grand one and shit. You know what I mean? But there's no point in booking that place if you don't want the big place to obviously stay in. So yeah, big up Bowen Yang, big up Blood Clot Bowen Yang. This sounds like a really good idea. This sounds like a really good idea. Talking about good ideas, I'm probably going to be taking loads more flights next year. And I'm in the market for some new luggage. I don't want to get the off-brand, copied Rimowas that everyone's wearing now. They're made by a bunch of companies. I'm sure that there's one particular company that sponsors podcasts that I think is based in like Scandinavia or something. There's a few of these, right? There's a few of these luggage companies that have popped up out of the blue that are kind of doing a Rimowa but on the budget, right? I'm a big believer. If I want to get a Rimowa, I'll just go get a Rimowa. There's no point like getting the budget version of it. If you're going to get another luggage, just get another luggage. So I'm open to like other options that aren't Rimowa copy lookalikes. So I saw this on Hypebeast, and I thought this is actually a good idea for a luggage, and actually a good product sector or product category for Nike to move into. This is a luggage made by Nike. Yeah, Nike are starting to make luggage now. This is a really good idea. I'm surprised they haven't got into this earlier. I really, really like this. So this is courtesy of Hypebeast. It says Nike elevates the travel experience with a new premium hard shell luggage. New premium hard shell fucking luggage, and I fucking love it. I really do. The brand's latest innovation, blends athletic design with travel durability. There's also a code on the outside. It looks fairly robust. I also love that on the back, it's got the outline, it's got the imprint, of an outsole of an Air Force One, right? You know, that's a really nice little touch. You see it's a Air Force One sort of like sole outline, which is a nice touch because they must know that loads of people, myself included, wear Air Force Ones usually to go to the airport. That's usually the everyday airport shoe, all white, all black. So I wonder if that's one of the reasons why they use that sole fucking print or outsole print, whatever, grip print. I wonder. But either way, you got two sizes, one cabin, one check-in, I'm assuming, which makes it very easy to buy. One cabin, one check-in. I'm definitely going to try and get one. What I've actually learned about luggage, what I've learned is that there are some people out there that really swear by this, and what they do is that when they get their luggage, no matter what the brand is, no matter how much it is, they'll replace the wheels, and they replace the wheels with like inline skating wheels, skateboarding wheels, or inline skate wheels. But I think it's mostly inline skate wheels, if I'm not mistaken. And then it makes the luggage really crazy easy to carry and to kind of drag along. Skateboarding wheels, I think like polyurethane wheels. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that and it being a big. Let me see if I'm not talking shit. Skate wheels luggage. I'm pretty sure I saw a lot of people doing that sort of thing, and it really changes how you use your luggage and makes it super easy for you to kind of lug it around with it. Oh, there's actually a brand that does it too, called Floyd. That's funny. What's this? There's a company that has luggage that is what? That has skate wheels on it. Free shipping. Floyd travel case. Let's see what they got. Travel cases. Junior cabin. £545. God damn. Yeah, see, it's got like skate looking wheels anyway. They're skate wheels kinda, but not really. But yeah, I've seen some people do that. It looks kind of cool, isn't it? I'm not gonna lie. You can change the wheel colors to, what's it called? Floyd luggage. Actually, let me see what it's saying on YouTube actually. Let's see what a Floyd cabin luggage says. Floyd what? Floyd Give me a second here. Floyd cabin suitcase. Is there someone made a review? There we go. Don't make this mistake. Really, the best luggage. Okay, let's check this out. How much is that? 44,000 views. Let's check this out. Let's check this first review. Okay, let's see. Show me.
So I just got a new suitcase. Wow.
Okay.
And if you're watching this video and wondering whether you need a new suitcase as well, have a quick look at this. So this is the Floyd cabin suitcase in Vegas green. And if you think about it, there are really only three things that make a great suitcase. So this is an easy thing to start on because it's a pretty obvious one. If you don't want your suitcase broken into, then you really need to ditch the zip and get a proper latch lock. Then ideally a TSA approved one like the one here with a combination lock. But you also want a watertight seal. On the Floyd, the silicone seal that runs all the way around the suitcase feels really well made. And just because I know a lot of people will ask, yes, it still works well when you ram the suitcase full of stuff.
Nice.
One thing to note with this lock is that the dials themselves are actually quite hard to rotate. There's not much grip available there, but that's probably to stop them accidentally rotating when knocking the suitcase around. Regardless, what you're getting is a very secure lock.
Okay, really nice luggage anyway. Big up Floyd. I'm going to have to check those out actually. But going back to the Nike one, these look really good as well. Let's check out the article courtesy of the Nike website. It says, what to know. Nike is launching a hard shell luggage in 3 different sizes in spring 2026. Each suitcase features 360-degree spinner wheels, padded handle for comfort, adjustable inner dividers, and removable washable liner. The suitcase design draws heavily inspiration from the iconic Nike Air Force One shoe. Athletes will stop at nothing to better themselves, often traveling long distances, both linear and metaphorically. While fitness-centered travel offers athletics new opportunities, it also represents different challenges, with flight delays, crowded airports, and navigating unfamiliar cities. Sometimes reaching the final destination feels like a marathon in of itself, and demanding athletes shift their focus away from what matters most, their sport. Look at those luggage, they look really cool. In response, Nike created a new line of travel gear designed to meet the unique needs of today's athletes. After 5 years of research and development, the real-world testing, the collection launches in spring 2026. Each features 360-degree spinner wheels and padded handle for comfort. But yeah, really cool design. So I guess maybe there's 3. Maybe that's the smallest one there. Maybe that's a cabin. There's a one in between, and then there's a check-in there as well. Nike's entry into luggage space. Bill Bowman, what we notice, they say here, is that athletes have evolved a lot. While we're used to travel 40 to 50 miles by car to compete or train, now they're flying, and this is true across all levels and all ages, says Rachel Lepnitsky, Global Product Director for Nike Bags. Oh, that's sick. There's a division called Nike Bags. I love that. Either players fly on private jets to go around the world, and similarly kids playing club sports and flying to compete in weekends. There are also many everyday athletes who simply want to get a workout in while they're traveling. All of these things have become increasingly more prevalent. Indeed, luggage has become an essential piece of the for the modern athlete, as Lipinski and her team have developed a line they considered how they could help and athletes recover. But yeah, look at this, man. Look at this. It's got some really cool compartments on the inside. Loads of places to put things in, dividers and places to put your socks and boxes and shit. Loads of room, big zip, a lock that you can, a TSA approved lock system and shit as well, which I really like as well. No padlock needed. But yeah, really cool design. I love it. Again, look at the print of the Air Force One underneath. Really cool idea. Nice hard shell design with the Nike embossed logo. I love to incorporate an element of the shoe into the bag. Yeah. Whether it's a weekend or getaway, the Globetrotting Nike hand hard shell suitcase, they'll be available from spring 2026. The prices start at $260 for a carry-on. So much cheaper than the Floyd that I saw earlier. $260 for a carry-on. This is really good. And the wheels don't look, they're not, don't get me wrong, but they look decent enough. Yeah, I don't mind this actually. I'm gonna keep an eye out to see when these eventually are available to purchase. Oh, nice, a nice little Nike swoosh as well there on the pull-out little handle. I ain't mad at that. But a really nice suitcase, really flipping nice suitcase. I'm definitely gonna try and get one when they eventually end up dropping. I love the design, hard shell design, loads of space on the inside. Thank you. What's that? Thank you for flying Nike Air. It's fucking great. I love that on the inside, the print. I love the fucking little badge there with the neon sign. Oh, it also expands a little bit too, if you want to fit more things in there. Yeah, I'm mad at it. I'm not mad at it in the slightest. I'm not mad at this in the slightest. I'm not mad at it in the slightest. Big up Nike luggage. Definitely want to check that out. I definitely want to check that out at some point. Definitely want to check it out at some point. Talking about stuff I want to check out. Talking about stuff I want to check out. Let's just get right to the meat of the story, innit? Let's get right to the meat of the story. Let's just get right to the meat of the story. Let's talk a little bit about Man United 2. Man United 1, sorry, Man United 2. I wish. Man United 1, Aston Villa 2. Aston Villa 2, Man United 1. We played away from home. We got a bunch of injuries. We've got some players out for AFCON, which we would have known for ages anyway. We're not in the best of form. So the result wasn't too surprising. But all that being said, actually watching the game, it was a really annoying result because we didn't really lose to a really stellar Aston Villa side, sorry. We faced and beat better Aston Villa teams. But what they did really well, especially Morgan Rogers here on the screen, they took their chances really fucking well. The finishes from Morgan Rogers were fucking fantastic. I really hate the defending, especially because it's Lennon Euro, who I'm a big fan of. But I thought especially maybe on the second goal. The first goal I can kind of, give you the benefit of the doubt because it was a fantastic goal. I still think he should have closed him down and got in front of him and stopped him from cutting in as easy as he did, especially after that first loose touch. Because I think the first goal, there's a loose touch that Morgan Rogers does on the wing, but he kind of gathers the ball. He has enough time to get the ball with that loose touch, face his man, run at him, cut inside and bend it top bins. But the second one I think is inexcusable because he already had the experience of what Rogers does when he cuts in. So he should have stopped it. He should have done whatever he could to stop that shot coming in. I know it wasn't technically all his fault for the second goal. I think Dalot kind of let the ball kind of get to, he kind of allowed that play to progress on the right hand side. But I still think I would have preferred to have seen Euro make more of an effort on the second goal to block it. But that aside, Morgan Rogers, 2 incredible finishes, top bins, done. That was a really annoying bit because I don't think they created more chances than that. Ollie Watkins didn't have much of a sniff, and that was it. Basically, that was basically it. And I'm actually wondering whether or not fucking what's his fucking name actually did that on purpose. Maybe the manager of Aston Villa actually did that on purpose, tactical formation wise, by allowing us to have the ball. Unai Emery allowing us to have the ball, allowing us to have this false sense of superiority because we did bust the fucking possession, but we didn't really do much, with that possession. We didn't really stretch them, really have them under the cosh. Yes, we had some chances, but I don't feel like we had unrelenting pressure where eventually we were going to crack. They were going to crack and we were going to score a goal. So that was another frustrating part of it. Another frustrating part about the game was I personally thought our defending as a team is kind of woeful. But I think it also reflects that we don't attack as a team. I feel like we're attacking like clusters, whether it's the people on whoever's playing on the right hand side and Mbeumo and Ahmed, whether it's someone playing on the left-hand side, whether it's someone playing in the middle, whether it's individual brilliance, we attack in cluster, we don't attack as a team. Probably no surprise that going backwards as a team, we're not the best defending wise, but I don't have any excuse. I don't want any excuses for that either, because Amarin essentially plays 5 defenders. He plays 5 defenders and he still can't manage to figure out a way for us to not concede as much and to play with more defensive solidity. I don't like that personally. I think that's a real big red flag in my fucking opinion. And then of course, as the game proceeded, a shocking event happened. Bruno Fernandes ended up getting injured. The first time I think he's been injured on the field in like 6 years or something. That threw a bit of a spanner in the work. But what I really loved about it is that it forced Ruben Amorim to sub fucking Bruno Fernandes, which he never does, to rotate him, which he never does, and play and go for someone like Alessandro Martinez in midfield. He probably could have played Shea Lacey. He probably could have played Jack Fletcher or somebody else in that midfield, a young player. But he went for Lisandro Martinez, mostly, I would reckon, because of the experience. I don't think he actually believed, oh, he's a sick midfielder. I think he did it mostly for the experience. But regardless, Lisandro Martinez came on and he took his opportunity. We've seen him play on the back three. I don't think he looks the best on the back three. I think he's better in the back four, right? Classic back four, especially in a partnership where one defender is better at defending in space, right? With a lot of room around him. And he can defend more one-on-one, this type of thing with the combative skills that he has. But I feel like when he played in midfield, when he came on and played that number 6 role, it was such a breath of fresh air. It was so good to see. But it immediately made me think, why hasn't the manager tinkered to figure this out earlier? Why are we only figuring this out because our player that never gets injured got injured? We should always be thinking about scenarios that would not involve Bruno. You know, scenarios as a team that could play, scenarios that involve us attacking that aren't just centered around Bruno. But it seems like our manager didn't really think about that going forward. So we kind of got fucked in that position. But I did like the cameo I saw from Alessandro Martinez. I did like most of the second half, I'm not going to lie. But of course, that second goal kind of killed us. And then, of course, our inability to finish our dinner in some of our chances. Sesko had a really good chance in the first half, which he should have done way better than. But again, I would be lying if I said I expect him to score. Let's be honest. As much as I want to rip into Sesko, as much as I truly believe that Sesko is not better than Højlund, I'm still of the thinking that it was a mistake to sell Højlund and keep Sesko. I think we should have kept both players. I think both players are of the same level, that we should have kept them. We should have had Zersky as a replacement, maybe as a number 10, maybe dropped him back. Do you know what I mean? I think we should have kept them anyway as strikers. I think selling one to keep the other was really dumb, in my personal opinion. Especially when you think about rotation and pressure that's on Sesko at the moment. I don't think it was necessary. I think we could have afforded to just keep, to keep both of them at the club, but we didn't. Here we are. But what I don't like about Sesko so far is that, his all-round play doesn't seem like it's that great. There's been some moments where he's played decently, but overall, it's not been the greatest. And the other thing that's really scaring me is that, okay, cool, you don't have the fucking player movement of whoever, but you're just a maverick. You're just a killer when it comes to the chances. He's not even that. He misses a few of them too. Don't get me wrong, the chance that he got wasn't really a chance. It wasn't really the pass played into. I think it ricocheted into his path. But I think still a top striker on that level takes those chances. A top striker would fucking, Emi Martinez rushing out to you, chips the goalkeeper, places the ball by the side of the goalkeeper. That doesn't let that, you know what I mean? That's what a proper player does. So I was a bit annoyed that he didn't finish that goal. I was also annoyed at Cunha, who sometimes can be a bit greedy, a little bit selfish and shit, which I like, don't get me wrong, because it seems like he's got a really big personality. Personality-wise, not effort-wise or ability-wise, I'm not too sure on, but I think personality-wise, he's probably one of the only few players in that squad who could say they could really hang with the OG, trophy-winning fucking era of United back in the day. I'm pretty sure they could. They're definitely top players. But yeah, overall, not super happy with the performance. Not super happy with the defensive performance. I don't get everyone's positivity regarding this result. I don't get Ruben Amorim saying we're the better team because we still fucking lost. I'm not really a big fan of that. And I really do hate how defensively fragile and shaky we're looking. That's the thing that's really worrying me. Like, the defense is looking absolutely shocking. I think at the last time of checking, we've conceded 70 goals. We've conceded 70 goals. We're fast approaching the fucking halfway point. It might reach 100, It might reach 100 goals conceded from us, which is fucking terrible and really should be a fucking sackable offense. But this club is so, I don't know, so like lacking in action and hesitant and whatever it is, conflict avoidant. I don't know what's going on. Whatever it is, you got it in fucking spades. So I guess it is what it is. And then the other thing that I also liked about the game was the substitutions. Bringing on some of the academy players, Shea Lacey, and obviously Jack Fletcher, son of legendary Man United player Darren Fletcher. So congratulations to them for making an appearance. It's not kind of new to me that most likely that appearance was done by Amorim to appease his critics, and also because Leeds must. There's no other option. I don't think he would have ever played those kids if all the players that he wants to play were fit. That's never happening. So as much as I'm happy that they played, I'm kind of pissed off because this only happened because of an injury. It didn't need to go this far, If Amorim was more okay with rotating players and okay with resting players, he would have rotated fucking Bruno from time, Rotated him from time, allowed him to have a refresh and come back stronger later. It's not that difficult really, but when it comes to him, sometimes it truly, truly, truly is Ruben Amorim. Another point of conjecture for me, obviously, was the injury. The injury to Bruno Fernandes. This is going to be a big blow for us in the season, but I think it's definitely karmic retribution. I think the club, I think Amorim, I think Bruno deserves this injury. They all deserve this because there's been, especially, and the fan base too, especially the Bruno fanboys, there's been too much of an over-reliance put on Bruno. I think Bruno has got a lot more flowers than he probably deserves as well because he's playing for such a shit club and a shit team at this current moment. But I really, really dislike the way that some of the fans talk about Bruno as if he could do no wrong. As if there's never a scenario where if he plays poorly, you can sub him and play somebody else. There's never a player on the bench that could do his job. There's never a player in the bench that could play a role. Never. He has to be Bruno and no one else. I always hate those kind of guys. So I think this particular injury is going to force our manager to figure out other options that don't include Bruno. Now, the irony of this is, if Amorim was more flexible with his system, if Amorim was more open to dropping his favourite players and rotating them, you know what would have happened by now? He would have tinkered to the point where he discovers that, Licha Martinez is a good fucking midfielder. He would have discovered that, and then what he would have done is that he would have played a midfield of Casemiro and Licha maybe as the two kind of defensive kind of midfielders in that midfield, and then have fucking Bruno Fernandes play further up the pitch in that number 10 role. And then in that formation, you could probably afford a Maino to fit in there too. Because it then doubles up as a free midfield with Bruno playing number 10 whole thing going forward. So there was always an option. There was always options available for Bruno. There was always options available that the fanboys of Bruno and Amorim had never considered that could have done a job in that position. And now, because I think partly because he's been running the ground, he's been relied upon so much. He plays every minute of every fucking single game. Even if it's one game a week, he's playing every fucking minute of that game. I think because of that, that's why his fucking legs and his feet are trying to give up a little bit, That's exactly the fucking reason. Exactly the flipping reason. So it is kind of harsh to see him get, injured like that. But it also kind of makes you feel like, Jesus, man, these guys are like, I don't know. Some of these football people, they're a little bit all over the place. Because in my head, of course, you've got a small squad, and you're working for the Glazers and Ineos who, aren't that super invested in the club in a big way. If you want something, of course you'd want to smile and shit and be courteous, and it's not that difficult to do. But I guess for some people, it's a big achievement. So this is the update courtesy of Manchester United website. It says Ruben reacts to Fernandes' injury. So he got injured, I think, during the second half of the game against Aston Villa. It looks like he'll probably be out for about a month, I'd say. If it's a poor tear, he'll probably be out for about a month, which includes quite a few games that we probably need to win, especially considering the latest result. You know how it is. Let's read the article. Ruben Amorim has expanded on Bruno Fernandes' injury during the Manchester 2-1 loss. The captain appeared to be in some discomfort with his right leg towards the end of the first half, but persevered until the whistle at the break. By the way, soldier at that. He also had a pretty decent chance in this when he was still injured, where he kind of did a body feint and was able to kind of get a shot on target. Honestly, if he was just a 5% quicker across the ground, he'd be an absolute freak. 5% quicker around the ground, he'd be an absolute freak. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The captain appeared to be in somewhat discomfort. Amorim was asked about the Portugal international's condition after the game and was provided an update of the issue with the busy schedule continuing to Boxing Day. It is a soft tissue issue, the boss says, so it's going to take a while. We'll see. It's really strange during this year, especially at this time. We have so many problems, but we have to cope with that. Amorim revealed later on in his post-match press conference that he believes some of the Reds up and coming. Fernandes will miss some of the games. Sorry, I don't know. I think he's going to lose some games, but I don't know for sure. the head coach revealed, "I don't want to talk about the matter. It's a guy who is always fit and has shown up as always and can recover." So yeah, that's the situation at hand. He's currently injured now, probably for a month. Like I said, it's good karmic retribution because it also means that Amrin will have to coach, right? It also means that Amrin will be forced to fucking coach. He'll be forced to find some options, some other options to get those players in those fucking roles. He can't just solely rely on just Bruno, which I always thought is a bad idea, especially for squad harmony. I know Bruno's a captain and the talisman and the main player and the quote-unquote best player, but I always thought that would be kind of discouraging for the players at the club, knowing full well it doesn't matter if you do like a 10 out of 10 Zidane-like performance in training, your man just still gonna go and pick, fucking who they're gonna pick because this is the game, this is the industry. So it's kind of out of order how it all played out. I'm not gonna lie. But I think this is very warranted and deserved from him because, again, too much over-reliance on Bruno, never trying to rotate and make other players happy and make them play. I personally think this is a good thing. And I'm looking forward to see the options that he brings up. The options he presents, would it be Mason Mount playing there? Would it be Licha and Casemiro? And then maybe, I don't know, Cunha dropping down as that number 10 role, or Zerski if he's still here. I'm really curious to see what options that he figures out because, you got to figure out something. Because, again, your main guy's gone, and Buemo, fucking Ahmad, they're all gone as well. So you need to figure out something. So let's see, and obviously Maswari. So let's see what he figures out. Another thing that I didn't like was this news courtesy of Fabrizio Romano. The news is alleging that Zerski is now currently in negotiation with AC Roma or AS Roma in the Serie A. Zerski is currently in negotiation with Roma to go and play in Italy. I personally think this is a big shame. It's disappointing how much Amrin doesn't rate Zerski. He clearly doesn't. When there's opportunities to play him, he doesn't. He usually relies on him right at the end. I thought he did fairly well against Aston Villa. I feel like he held the ball up way better than Sesko. He didn't get much opportunity to really impact the game, but he did play decently enough. I thought Shaleshi was awesome. He's always asking for the ball. There's one chance in particular that he got that he tried to bend and wrap around the corner, but unfortunately that didn't go in. But yeah, good play there as well. I don't know, man. I don't flipping know. I would have personally preferred to have kept Zerski. Sesko is clearly struggling. The only other striker we have for backup if Sesko gets injured is Cunha, who isn't a striker, in my personal opinion. He might be a left-sided midfielder, might be a number 10, box-to-box number 8, but he's definitely no striker. So I can't really think of anyone else who might be making one, when it comes to this type of thing. So yeah, big up on that one. And good luck to Zerski, man. I think he deserves that the move. I think he's been a great pro. I like him as a player. Very, very tidy striker, hybrid striker type of thing, right? Not really sure if he's a striker or if he's a fucking absolutely out here playing football and shit. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Big up Zerski. Big up Blood Clot Zerski. Big up Blood Clot fucking Zerski. Okie dokie. And then of course I also watched, I'm sure some of you watched it as well. I also happened to watch the Jake Paul v Anthony Joshua fight. I'm sure most of you have watched it. I'm sure most of you know what happened. But I just want to give you my quick review of the fight itself. I went into the fight hoping that Joshua would absolutely walk through Jake Paul, because I was one of the people that was really, no, I'm so upset, but I was kind of sad that he was even doing this in the first place. Anthony Joshua, he had aspirations of becoming, he was champ at one point, but he had aspirations of becoming one of the greatest in boxing, and for him to kind of do a YouTuber boxing match was like, a little bit, what the fuck is going on here? But he took his camp very seriously. He approached it very seriously. And then when he found out about the money involved, allegedly 90 million and stuff, he like, fair enough, 90 million to go to America, get yourself shit-faced and shit, hang out with people, and also got opportunity to make a bunch of money. I guess no one will turn that down. But I did expect or did hope that Joshua would walk through him. So can't be surprised when the fight starts and Joshua and Zerski are kind of exchanging glances and little body feints and shit. Color me fucking wild. Like, what the hell is going? So that was going on. Everyone fucking, whatever. So as the fight starts, the thing that I noticed the first was obviously Jake Paul running around a lot, right? Which for me, I think was a good tactic in terms of trying to stay in the fight as long as possible and then look for an opening so that you could maybe have a puncher's chance of winning, which I think was his tactic anyway. But the tactic he didn't really acclimate for, of course, was what it looked like, isn't it? Because if I were that, or a lot of people will probably think of some bad things are probably occurring. So it probably is dependent on what kind of car you're actually in. If you're on one of these mad ones, and maybe no one should probably check. You know what I mean? But yeah, the fight went on. Jake Paul, did a really good job of moving around the ring, not being an easy target for Anthony Joshua to hit. People suggesting that might have been scripted, but me personally, I watched the TV. I thought he did pretty well there. Not expecting getting hit was a really good achievement. Also, who else I want to say? Oh yeah, big up Angela turning up in the thing as well. But yeah, Jake Paul ran around quite a bunch, didn't really do much, didn't offer much, but I thought he was doing so in order to gas out Joshua, in order to find opportunities to punch and go from there. Essentially, the scenario flipped the other way around. Actually, it was, that got tired in the first place, Jake. And then Joshua started to take advantage of that fatigue that he had by closing off the ring better and obviously landing way more shots. He landed way more shots, especially on the inside. Way more. So, yeah, man. Big up my fucking sister and all that malarkey, Big up Jake Paul. I think the bag was obviously secured. That doesn't make, no one's kind of mad at the bag. The broken jaw is fucking crazy, though. I'm not sure if I'll be super happy or pleased to make 90 mil, but I have to break my jaw in 2 places. I think that's fucking gnarly, but he did so. So big up him, and everybody kind of trolling him online about the fucking watch thing. It's like, brother, like, it's not that deep, really, isn't it? It's a watch. Like, I don't know if that was me, that's what I'd probably say. But hey, who am I when this stuff comes up? Who am I when this stuff comes up? Absolutely nobody. And yeah, man, the stuff we got Jake is fucking pretty rancid. He just finished his surgery actually for the broken jaw. Here's some pictures too, as you can see, his face half swollen up and looking all inflamed and crazy. So big up Jake Paul, man. Big up fucking Jake Paul. Big up blood clot Jake Paul. He stepped in that octagon. He did what most people wouldn't probably do. Although the fight wasn't the best quality, he still stepped in there and did something that a lot of people wouldn't do. Although the fight wasn't, in my opinion, the bestest of quality. So big up fucking Jake Paul. Big up blood clot Jake fucking Paul. Okie dokie. What was I spoke about on Friday? Okay, cool. I think that's it for now. I'm gonna split it. And head off to get some food. I'm gonna pause for now and get some food. There'll be a part 2 of Taz, don't worry. There'll be a part 2 of Taz, and I'll carry on doing most of the fashion talk. So that'll be mostly fashion. We'll go over the fucking Chanel collection, Off-White, and Gucci pre-fall. So if you want to listen to that one, that'll be coming up soon. In about an hour or so. Oh, no, in about 2 hours or so when I finish my food. And then, of course, we'll do the random show later on tonight. So that will be the plan going forward. So big up everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. You're all fucking legends. Smash the like, hit subscribe. For those of you tuning in live, if you're tuning in live, smash the like, hit subscribe. If you don't mind, smash the like, hit subscribe. My tune of the day, for those of you that care, will be the legendary Terry Francis, Hannah's House. Legendary song called Hannah's House by the legend that is Terry Francis. That will be my song of the day. It'll only be available for those of you listening on Kick. So if you want to listen to the song of the day with me, you have to head over to my Kick channel. That's kick.com/Agostino Zinga. That's kick.com/Agostino Zinga to get access and to view what the song of the day sounds like. But for you listening on YouTube, I'm gonna leave now, shave fade to black, and see you guys again later. But for now, take care, have a good one, peace.